Good evening. This is meeting of the Auburn Conservation Commission of November 18th, 2015. It's being broadcast live and is available for viewing at auburnguide.com. Before we begin, I'm required to ask if anyone's making a recording of the meeting. Okay. Is there a motion to open the meeting?
I so move.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's proceed. First applicant, 7 p.m. applicant Michael Perro, Perro Auto Sales, notice of intent. Is the applicant here?
Glenn Kowalski representing the applicant for BBT Environmental.
Come around.
Thank you. Mr. Perro should be here momentarily. I did talk to him today. He's aware of his violation, and as you know, we've been working on the project since the enforcement order came out, and we finally have a plan that was submitted to you and DEP. There's a certificate of mailing. DEP did issue a file number with no comments on it. We had discussed the project with your town manager, and she went through your town attorney, our officer Robert Hennigan, to grant us permission to work on the town of Auburn's property to remove this fill. As you can see the site on the screen, which also is reflected on the plan. Perro Auto Sales is on the left of the screen, that building, and then there's an isolated wetland, that vegetated area, access way, shows on the plan. Mr. Perro had moved material from his lot, some stones and boulders, and in a swath of 80 feet wide, had pushed material into that silky dogwood isolated wetland. We've delineated the wetlands, both the natural wetlands on the south side of the pooling area. We delineated the wetlands along the original fill, which was probably put in when the building went in many years ago. So this is the fill line, and then this is the limit of the existing fill. We propose, if the commission does give us an order of conditions, we would go in there. Hopefully this 1 inch of rain that's coming wouldn't bring up the water level too high. The water table is very low right now. We'd like to restore this wetland this fall while the water table is still down. At the time that he filled it, the water was up into the fill approximately 1.5 feet in that area, and so that makes it more difficult to get all of the material. We just recently restored an area similar to this. We would use a mini excavator, remove the fill from the top of the A horizon, which is buried now. The original topsoil is under there. The bank is also evident, at least on both sides. We come back to that original filled brush in A horizon under my guidance, and get the fill out, and then we would plant it with, and we described planting it with some silky dogwoods and arrowwood, seeding it out with a wet meadow seed mix and sedges and brush seed mix. Restoring the town's got a small piece of area. I don't want to use superlatives, but it is a smaller area to work in. Restore it. We'll put a silt fence line at the toe of the slope until the area stabilizes, but we don't have overland flow going from the parking lot that I see causing erosion and eroding into the wetland. It's a very small area, and the parking lot actually drains away. If we had 4 or 5 inches of rain at one time, a 50-year storm event, we might have some erosion, but generally at 1 inch or 2 inches not going in that direction. If the commission so chooses, we would inform, obviously, the commission at the time or a couple of days ahead of time of when we're going to do it, so that you can, if you send an agent down or one of the members wanted to see the work being done, it should only take probably 4 hours to do it, one day period, and then seed it, mulch it, plant it. If New England Wetland Plant still has plants available at this time of the year, we would buy those small shrubs from them. If not, we would plant it with the shrubs in the spring when they become available again. I believe they still have them on stock. They did a week and a half ago. Bushes like the silky dogwood, like I said, and the arrowwood, and the common winterberry. Those are the types we would plant.
Does anyone have any questions on this project? Straightforward. There's no further comment. Is there a comment from the audience? Okay. Can I take a motion?
Motion to close the hearing.
Second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
If the, I know you have 21 days to issue the order, you know, Sheila's busy. The sooner the order comes out, if possible, then we can get in there before, you know, you can never anticipate, it's been dry as a bugger.
Right.
But I'd like to get in there as soon as even before frost and before rain, and just get this thing cleaned up. I'll take photos before and after and submit them to the commission, and I will, if it's in the order, to inform you ahead of time as to whatever you would like.
All right.
Thank you.
I'll probably rule on this tonight.
All right. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
About 7 minutes.
Time for 4. I don't know if we want to get into business.
Yeah. Did anyone get over to Lot 3, William Street?
I did
3
not.
Williams?
No.
Nobody visited it?
No, it is, but
I know you sent a bunch of emails.
Well, he's in a hurry to get
Yes, I
that.
know the
The
place.
certificate of compliance, right?
Right.
Yeah, I didn't.
Good night.
Wasn't able to
Oh,
get there.
Thank you.
Probably from the store. It's right after we
All
started.
right, well, we had minutes you sent, right?
Yeah.
Anyone have a chance to take a look at the minutes from last time?
I know exactly.
7 minutes, yeah. If not, I mean, we can get into miscellaneous discussion. There's a lot of people here to talk about.
Yeah, I just wanted to maybe ask the commission if they would sign this extension for the order of conditions that we approved at the last hearing. I didn't have this signed, so that was for 23 Brook Street for Paul Jim's White Tail Run.
Okay.
I don't know what's up with my fingers, I can't.
I had a question on the
Next page.
minutes on the 28th.
Yep.
I had asked a question, and I might not be able to put on the minutes at all, but when they talked about Mason House being removed, I mentioned there were a couple of in-ground tanks in back, and the gentleman who was at the easel told me that they were going to stay there because they needed it for, I don't know, the energy or what it was for. Exactly, I don't know if that's important to put in or not.
Well, why don't we talk
The
about
minutes
the minutes
wasn't present
later?
at that
Sure,
meeting.
okay.
And let's just get
This
this
is the-
signed. I think we need to,
Don't let
there's a lot of
Louise
people here to
sign
talk about some miscellaneous discussion, so we should probably get to that.
Okay, fine.
She actually-
It's only true because we're not going to want to break it
Oh,
up.
this is-
We're not going to have enough time to really get into it before our next hearing, so.
Well, but I don't want to keep him here for an hour and a half. You know what I'm saying?
it's like looking at it.
So, it's just a judgment call. I think we should talk about it now. Everyone's here. You know, how do people feel about that?
I don't think we're going to be able to cover it in 5 minutes, though.
Well,
I want to ask.
I'm just gonna, I think we should start talking about it because there's a lot of people here waiting to talk about Elizabeth Drive.
Okay.
Not
Chuck.
sure how we, yeah, Jim?
You may first ask if the applicant's here.
Uh,
I know there's a lot of butters, but...
oh, right, the applicant for
Or no, Mr. Raffle listed in the agenda.
Mr. Rafa.
Paul Raffa.
Is Paul Rafa here?
He was planning to come, he said.
Well, he's probably not going to be coming in until later. I told him we had a
Well, then
pretty full
I guess
agenda.
No, I'm sorry, that's not him.
We'll have to wait.
I
I
can't see
He did
that.
something.
You didn't say it was coming.
Yeah, we'll just have to hold off.
Yes.
I guess we gotta hold up, folks, sorry. I'm gonna try to get into it because I know everyone's here to talk about it. but-
Is that Paul? I can't see.
I don't think it was Paul, no, it wasn't.
Okay.
All right, so we didn't get,
Oh, okay.
we didn't get to
Thank
William
you.
Street. Faith Ave, is there any update on that?
No, we just keep carrying it on the
Okay.
agenda.
Unless we get an email about some kind of plan about,
Yeah, there
We
was.
should have asked Glenn, I don't know who. I thought they were going to be filing something
Yeah,
soon.
Glenn.
there was some kind of updated drawing that got sent out. It's been a long time since the last meeting, so,
Yeah.
The next hearing shouldn't take long. That was just, you went to visit the site, and it was really just to issue an order of conditions. So that shouldn't take long. If maybe, yeah, but I said Mr. Raffer isn't here.
Okay,
If I may, Mr. Chairman.
sure.
I have two things on the agenda.
Mr. Benoit.
Thank you. Master Plan Committee delegation, Zoning Bylaw Review Committee delegation. They're both two committees that were established last week. And the Conservation Commission, as a regulatory board, has been asked by the town manager to either nominate or appoint a member to act as a representative of the Conservation Commission on those committees, if they're volunteers. The committee could take action on that now.
All right. Do you have any other information about when the meeting is
Right.
or how often they meet?
They could meet at most twice a month, but possibly just once a month. It's going to depend on the body of work.
Okay.
at the time.
When do they have to make decisions about that?
The application window for the citizens of each committee ends on Friday the 27th. We anticipate holding possibly its first meeting in January. Seeing the commission here today being absent 2 members, it would be understandable to carry that over to the next agenda, so you have more of a quorum.
Right. But so
When is our
people
next
know.
meeting?
Actually,
December 8th.
The ninth, ninth.
Yeah?
Right, the 9th.
Yep.
So if people are interested, so this is the master plan review, which is
Okay.
periodic, like every, 10 years or
Yes.
something like that.
Yes.
Town goes over this stuff. And it'd be good to have a conservation person on there.
Okay, we're going to about a year, once a month, possibly.
Possibly
So-
two.
So that's probably something we can
And the
discuss.
time period of the
separately.
meeting would be what, an hour or so.
Yes, once we have members, they can discuss the collective schedule that fits everyone.
And then similar thing for the zoning bylaw review committee, they were asking for conservation
Yes.
input on that?
Yes,
Okay.
Is that also a review thing that, okay.
yes, that's a separate committee.
Okay.
So I wanted to introduce it at least tonight, so folks could think about it and possibly get back.
Okay, I think you sent an email on that, right?
Just did this.
Okay,
Still have a couple more minutes.
okay. Sheila, what about so the enforcement order for West Street is still in effect, right?
Yeah, that's West Street, South Street. That was the one that
That's the
will be
notice
in
of intent we
effect
just
probably
did.
until it's all corrected and the
Yeah,
certificate of compliance is issued. Has somebody got the signed extension form?
You want to mention this letter from Mr. Stencil, who said that he wanted someone to go to the site.
Oh.
Because he didn't believe in the wetland. He had a wetland.
Oh,
Wasn't
yeah, I
going to
don't
be
know
at
if that's
tonight's meeting.
not really
Is
on
it
the
there?
agenda.
He
but
cannot attend tonight.
Oh, was it on there?
Um,
It's on the agenda.
I didn't see it on
No.
there. I mean miscellaneous discussion. is-
197 Package House.
Yes,
Yeah, yes, it is.
197
Yes,
Package
it is.
House.
Yes, it
Okay,
is, uh-huh.
sorry, I missed that.
That's okay, it just didn't have his name, I didn't see it.
So
Where did you get this letter?
I
he
ran
would
it off.
like
I run off everything, Sheila.
any of the commission to come to his property. I told him they usually do site visits on Saturday, and I've got his email and phone number if we wanted to contact him and set up a time for whomever would like to go.
Okay,
Sheila took the pictures the last time that she took them on the Montessori
okay.
traumas. It's too.
Now, when we went to this, did we go by 197?
We went
Okay.
by
We
it.
have been, we have been there.
Okay.
We went by it. We took the pictures.
Yeah,
Michelle,
I think Michael and I don't remember who else was with us, but we went before you went to take
Uh-huh.
pictures.
Okay.
So we have seen the pile of debris there,
Okay.
and it's still there.
The pile of debris is there, but did it look like there was near a wetland
Well, I
there?
think Michael determined that it was, I believe, when that information.
Where was this?
197.
Yeah, Package Street, the house,
I mean, we wouldn't make.
like right in front of Package Hog Church.
Scientists and test, but.
It's a little while
To
ago.
the left, just to the left of the
Right,
church,
it was
that big empty lot in front of the church.
Yeah.
There's
yeah,
a,
that's
Sherry's got
there's
that
a
man,
ditch
right.
there, and I believe that at times, it's not wet now, it's been so dry, but at times it's wet in there.
it looks like it could be a spot where if it rains heavily, it's going to be a wet area.
Okay.
That was a wet meadow when they built the church.
So what would you like to do? Would you like to invite him to a meeting, or should
He
we?
wanted you to
He doesn't
visit
wanna
the
come.
site.
You wanted us to-
He wanted you to come visit the site
Right, that's
and
what they
show him where the wetland is, because he doesn't seem to think there's wetland there.
Okay. And have we tried to contact him to set up
He
a
came
time?
in today to tell
We
me he
did.
was not able to come to the meeting tonight
Okay.
and wanted to have any of you come to his home and,
Okay, so can we set up a time, or can you call him to set up a time? for
yeah,
us
I
to
told him you
visit?
usually do it on Saturdays. I don't know when anyone wants to do it.
Maybe we'll see if we have any other sites to get up to together like that. Just like this is the Saturday. No, I know.
Saturday's not.
Not this Saturday for you
No,
either?
it's not a good Saturday.
Well, perhaps before the next meeting. we
One
can-
after.
We're gonna get
Yeah,
tougher, we're gonna go into December.
Right. All right, well, I think we're past the time, 7:15. So,
Okay. They
Sep-
didn't-
sorry, the 7:15 applicant, notice of intent for Stephen and Kathleen Church.
I didn't think they had to appear, no.
Do they have to appear to this?
No,
They
no.
don't?
Michael told me they have to come.
Exactly.
All right,
I'm actually here, I'm the guy who flagged the wetlands on South Joy.
okay. Come forward.
Okay.
I figured I'd come in because it's so much fun.
Well, that's why we do it.
We do just
Give the
All right,
blast.
Okay.
Well, you know what, I figured I was gonna go and get a roast beef sandwich anyway down the street, so what,
That's
that's
a good point.
This is from the last meeting.
So you're a Seth LaJoy of Seth LaJoy Associates?
It's true.
Okay. And, okay, so,
I did the wetland filing and the wetland delineation, and then Summit Survey and Engineering did the plan for this. I believe that Andrew Baum was in at your last meeting, and he went over the whole project with you guys, and you went on a site walk, I understand, this past weekend.
Does this accurately reflect the address?
It does.
Okay, sometimes Google Maps is not.
Let's see, it might be the one next to it, actually.
So,
Might be that one right there.
this one?
Yeah, I think so.
sorry,
Did
Steve?
any of you visit the site?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so Michael said everything looked fine.
He was going to grade it so that there was a slight decline in it, but he was going to elevate that, that's correct.
Correct.
And Michael said there wasn't, our chairman said at that point, there was no problem. No problem with it. There was no problem with him
Right.
putting it in there. He was certainly well within distance,
Very good.
right?
Yes. Did you have a copy of the plan? Was that in?
I did, this is from last Monday.
Is that part of the deal, you get to go use the pool?
I think,
Yeah.
you know, I could work with something on the side, I mean,
It was a
really.
wetland.
Got the deck and the whole
And
thing.
there's that.
So what was the, I guess the only question, I think I remember seeing, so the question was, what was the closest point to the wetland that the work would be? It looks like it's about 30 feet,
Mhm.
so,
And we're trying to stay outside of that 25-foot zone.
right.
It's currently being maintained as lawn for the most part anyway right now.
Okay. And it looks like it's a fairly flat area.
Very. Yep.
I wasn't able to attend this site walk. I was on a couple of the others, but I didn't go on this one. All right, is there any questions about the plan or about what's been submitted?
I'll move to close.
Well, hold on a minute. Is there any questions from the audience on this? Okay, take a motion.
I'll move to close.
Second. Okay.
Any discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? It's a vote. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you very much for your time this evening.
You.
I'll eat a sandwich.
Have a good night.
Chelsea is to eat a sandwich now.
Sounds good.
I know.
Okay.
10 minutes. The minutes.
Yeah,
And look at the minutes now.
can't wait any day.
Minutes.
I didn't see much. I don't know if others did, but you know.
Just a little bit,
Yeah.
just slow.
Yeah, we'll
And when he
pitch it.
brings it down, along the deck, he goes across
It's
it.
gonna go out there, yeah.
It's not near the no build zone.
No. Nice.
So, I don't know if anybody saw anything further up, but under 7 o'clock Simon Property Group, about 2/3 of the way down the page, the floodplain is 500, no wildlife habitat. I'm not sure what you were referring to. Is that a distance or area?
It is.
500 something.
Okay.
500 foot elevation?
Yeah, I kind of left that, with the dot, because I wasn't sure what he was referring to when he said, the project will be in full compliance of riverfront. I don't know what the terminology was there.
Right, riverfront.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that means either.
I'll have to listen to the meeting.
Okay.
I'll check both of those. Carolyn, you were going to mention about,
I did.
Oh, you did?
Well, I did mention it to Chuck, but we were gonna
Oh.
reserve some discussion for that.
okay,
That I had mentioned about the 2 tanks behind the Macy's, current Macy's store, and then it said we would wait on that.
This is a request for determination, so I guess, you know,
It really is immaterial, it's not,
I mean, you know, given how we ruled on it, so
okay.
it'll be coming back around.
Okay.
So,
I think he's filing something with planning board tomorrow on that.
That was the only thing that jumped out at me.
Nothing on the other votes or hearings or anything.
What's gonna happen to William Street? That something has to be visited.
Yeah. Go take a look. Certificates for plans. Unfortunately, yeah, everybody's busy right now.
I do that.
Sheila, just a comment.
Yeah?
Do decisions. Do you put in the orders of conditions that we, like any of the numbers of the order of conditions or anything
Yes,
like
she
that?
does.
Okay.
On the order itself and in the minutes.
You did, they were in the minutes, I saw them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't, on the decisions, I didn't see any of the numbers.
Well, if you turn the page,
Oh, there it is,
there
right.
was just
That's
2
page
notice of
18.
intent
Got it.
issued.
Okay.
So Barn Street, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I guess it was just one for Barn Street, that was it.
Right, that's why I was looking at the decisions and
Those are
I
the ones
didn't see
that
it right
you-
away.
yeah.
but
Yeah,
got it.
I wrote issuances on the other side, which is the less
Great.
determination.
Anyone have any other corrections to the minutes? Can I have a motion then?
I'll move to accept the meeting minutes from October 20th, 2015 as amended.
I'll second that.
Can we accept them? She's going to still look
Yeah, I
up.
haven't really said what I was gonna amend it with.
She'll look up that,
Do you want me just to wipe that, scratch that out of this?
she said she was gonna listen to the
Because I
meeting.
have to, we
I
have to.
guess we have.
So I guess
changed
we would
the-
have to, we'd have to put it off till you adjust them then.
All right,
Yeah.
all right, so what's the vote then? We have a motion and a second.
I don't think anyone seconded it, did they?
He meant Tom did.
Tom did,
I withdraw the motion.
okay. I'm not
I'll
sure.
second that.
There we go.
Motion
So we'll just
withdrawn.
carry them over to the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Wouldn't be the first time we've had meeting minutes carried over.
Okay.
Correct.
It's only one set for now.
Yeah.
Got a few more minutes.
5 minutes.
Fortunately, is anybody here? They're not here
They're
yet.
here, they're up.
Committee.
Oh, they are?
Committee, we.
Okay. You mean the 7:30 or you mean the, okay. The Rapids not here.
Okay.
Well, I guess we have to wait.
This is time for 2 minutes.
Did we have anything left on our list of business we can
Well,
look at?
the Route 12 and 20 reconstruction gate.
There was a note.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we got an
I
email
sent an
on that,
email, I
right?
We
did
did, yeah.
email him
Locked it
again because they didn't respond to me and he said that they have locked it. You know, shortly after I sent them that first email, they locked it and they plan on having it, keeping it locked.
They said they apologized.
Yes, he apologized for not getting back to me.
That's
Sounds
resolved.
good.
So that's resolved, yes.
The minutes we'll do next time. December 9th, huh?
Yeah, Jim Galvin was the one that wrote back to me.
So is anyone thinking of going on the master plan committee or the zoning bylaw committee?
I'd like to know.
Any interest?
I'd like to know the news.
Because it does set the, you know, it's kind of set the direction for bylaw changes and things like that.
I've only been in town for about 49 years.
So you have an idea what to do.
I, hopefully,
Yeah.
I could consider it. I'd like to know more about it.
Sure.
Okay.
Take on anything more. On the master plan. That's the stories.
Okay. Few minutes. Anything you want to bring up, Matt?
I can kind of elaborate on the master plan. a
Okay,
little
would you?
bit.
Okay.
That'd be great,
So
thank you.
The master plan is a comprehensive document that contains the town's vision for the next 10 years. For its recreation, its business development, its business climate, plus also some plans and ideas for the town going forward and how they're going to use recreational open space for future recreation uses or whatnot. Also, the stormwater aspects, you're going to cover everything possible with the master plan in different chapters of the master plan. So, the reason it comes up, conservation, of course, is a regulatory board, because there's a lot to do with some of the open space in town and possible recommendations for how to use that land, if not preserve that. So, there's several vision workshops to start this off, where with the help from CMRPC, if we do get that through a grant we've applied for, they would set up workshops throughout the community so residents and members of the master plan committee can work together to come up with some ideas and essentially establish a vision statement for the community and where they see Auburn 10 years or so, and have a plan going towards that. So it gives us an opportunity to assess the needs in town. What do we need most? Is it fields? Is it dog parks? Who knows? It could be 100 things. So it gives us an opportunity to grab the ears of the citizens and the volunteers for the town to come up with a comprehensive plan and give town administration that plan as guidance for how to obtain grants and how to shape the community towards the way that the residents want to see it. So it's a nice opportunity to have a hand in that for folks too.
Thank you.
And it goes for
Good influence
people
where
watching at
everyone's
home
gonna
as
go,
well.
right?
Yeah. It does have, in addition to the delegates that are appointed to the master plan committee, we've started advertising for 4 citizens as well. So 4 applications, or any applications up until November 27th, excuse me. It's certainly a good time to apply before the holidays and such, so it'd be nice to see some of the folks that are active in town to be involved with this sort of plan.
what was required. You have to go on the site, you have to go on the Auburn Town site and
Yep.
fill in the application.
Yep, there's a link right on our front page, right in the upper right-hand corner for committee vacancies, and there's also
Okay.
the same link available on the Board of Selectmen page.
And there will be, like you said, there will be openings for citizens as
Yep.
well. You know, you're coming here to tell us.
Yep.
But I think people in the
Right.
town, if they're interested in what's going on, and
Mhm.
want to influence the way open space is going to be used or whatever it
Yep.
is,
Yep.
it's an opportunity to get involved in it.
That's right.
Okay, great.
Actually, before I was on this board, I went to some of those meetings for the old master plan. So that was kind of my way of
That's where I started
getting
too.
introduced to things. Yeah. So,
Look at you
so
now.
there you go. You could end up behind this side of the table. Think of that.
7:30.
All right, 7:30, seeing that it's 7:30, the applicant Peter Hodge of Patriot
Hey.
Homes, hearing.
Helga.
Helga?
Is that what
I'm
it is?
sorry,
Helga.
Hauga,
Yes.
of Patriot Homes, notice of intent.
Right.
I have a motion to open the hearing.
I'll second.
Seconded.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Hauga, am I saying that right?
No, I'm Steve Bracewell, his partner.
All right.
I couldn't make it tonight.
Oh,
Okay.
How you doing?
Good.
Good.
So, you have 56 Packagug, Lot 2 is the first one we'll be looking at.
So I'm Brian Marshall of Graves Engineering, representing Peter Hunter.
Okay.
This is Steve
Where's Bracewell?
Bracewell. I have the certified mailing
Great.
cards.
Thank you. That's pretty good.
Can you tell us about this?
Okay, so here tonight to present two NOIs for two lots that were recently created at 56 Packagug Street.
Okay.
I'm guessing this first part's for Lot 2, and then
Yep.
745 will talk about Lot 3. So the big thing to note is that this is an existing house, and much of the lot here is existing grass, previously disturbed. You can see Packagug Street located over here. These are the wetlands flagged with the blue highlighter. The 100-foot is in orange up here. And we also have the 25-foot no disturb and the 50-foot shown over here. And you can see the proposed house is well outside of the 25-foot. It's outside of the 50-foot with some grading extending through into there to create the house lot. The driveway runs up to Packagug Street. The proposed dwelling is to be serviced by town water and sewer. And I would suspect that those utilities would run under the driveway. Proposing a straw wattle along the side of the driveway because there's minimal work to be done to install that driveway. And hay bales and silt fence in the area that's going to see more regrading for the buildings to take place. Also proposing a stabilized construction entrance at the entrance of the site.
And it's gonna be a foundation and everything?
I'm sorry?
Gonna be a foundation for the house?
Yes.
And what are you gonna do with the material that you dig up for the foundation?
We're gonna do with the material. Well, we could get it out of there if it's too much of an overflow. You know, truck it out. I
Hauled
can truck
outside or-
Yeah, I can truck it out.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Sure.
The only entrance and exit would be on Packagug Street, is that correct?
Yes.
Through that same driveway?
Yes.
And that, there is also a destructed, rather a rundown building there that would be
No, we rehabbed that.
rehabbed.
That's rehabbed right now. 56 Pack, it was a farmhouse that we
Correct, yes.
we fixed it all up. We actually have tenants in there now.
So that would remain?
Yes.
This house, there's a barn, I believe, in the rear that's going to be removed.
That's a good barn. I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh,
Thank you.
Yeah, it'll be done.
Okay. Tell you the entrance.
so, but, okay. All right, and is the area of the wetlands is on the back, sort of?
In this area.
Okay.
It's up there. We were surprised that there was even wetlands over there.
Well, because we went by there
Yes, it was all grass.
last week.
Yes,
It's
we-
been very dry.
Yeah.
But it seemed as though, I just brought the picture down. It seemed like a meadow, but I guess
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
I mean, that's
it's a delineated wetland back there. 'Cause I did see some blue flags.
I mean, they flagged it for wetlands, and we were shocked that they did it. I mean, it's all a grass area, it's pretty level back there, but they dug a few holes, and
Here doesn't
It has hydrate soils and things like that, so.
I mean, like, in some spots, it was, I mean, right now, it's probably pretty dry.
But it's a fairly flat area, I think, instead of sort of a wet area, but. All right. Any other questions from the commission?
The garage would have an entrance. Is there a side street there? There's only Packagug Street. There's not a side street where the garage would enter?
No,
No, it'll just be
that'll be package shop.
So only Packagug?
Yes.
With the entrance exit, what, just one?
it'll be a long
Yes.
driveway. Yes.
May I add something?
Sure. Mr. Benoit?
Thank you. Mr. Hauger and the applicant here today has received approval for the hammerhead lots designed on the plan that you see from the planning board at their last meeting, but their October meeting, I believe, and a decision has been signed and stamped with the town clerk to divide the two lots. So it's gone in front of the planning board and has been approved.
So this was one lot, now it's gonna be two.
There's two.
Each driveway.
There's two flag lots. So there'll be two different driveways coming in.
There's a total of 3 lots, so the existing house is on one lot, this is the second lot, and the third lot, it's not shown in this plan, it will be shown on the other
745.
side, yeah. But that comes in over here, and the house is located further back.
Any questions from the audience and public?
Is this the former Thorne property?
Excuse me, before you address, can you say your name and your address,
I'm
please?
sorry, Allison Berryman, 341 South Street, Marbury. Is this property the Thorne, used to be Thorne Dairy?
I can answer that.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct. This was a dairy farm at one point. The structure that the new house is replacing was the dairy barn, and the pasture is what's behind it.
Any other comments?
Is that going to be a shared driveway with the
No, there'll be-
existing property?
No, there'll be two driveways that go in. There'll be the long one that goes all the way back to the corner, left corner. And then there'll be another one that comes up and goes up.
So the plan that will show in a little bit, show the driveway coming in over here, and then there's this driveway.
To add one more thing, just
Mr.
to do
Benoit?
that. The applicant last meeting talked about that driveway that's in the north part of the property that kind of leads to nowhere. They mentioned that that is going to be, that's going to remain, but the paved area that leads towards the garage of the milk barn would be removed, graded, and replaced with loam and seed. Is that correct?
Yes. You can see that little paved area adjacent to the existing barn that's behind where the house is going to be, and that will be a loam and seed.
Will there actually be a reduction in impervious surface?
It would appear that's
Any other questions? Motion? Questions from the board? We have a motion or?
Motion closed.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. The next one is in a few minutes. Just gotta wait a few minutes. Sorry.
Huh.
I tried to add filler.
I know.
I tried.
I tried so hard. You look at it, you're right back.
It's only 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Driveway's gonna be right along here for this
What's
lot.
that? We just, I think we did see this there. The last time we went to
We did that, yeah, just last week. You guys went to.
we went way
Your son
back.
just took care of it.
Right. We went back looking for Sasquatch in that field.
Yeah.
Fine.
We could sign one of the orders while.
Okay. Those orders. What orders?
I mean, we're gonna have to sign. I mean, if we were ready to go on them, do we have to wait until the end of the meeting?
No. You do them now.
Order conditions.
Issue an order. Right.
All right, you ready to issue one?
I
Would
mean,
you like to make a motion?
I mean, it's only a couple minutes, but I mean, if we don't have any other details to, I mean, we could, for the first, it would just be lifting the enforcement order, right?
No, because this is a notice of intent.
There's no
Oh, it isn't, yeah.
Then we have
NOI
to
because
lift the
yeah.
enforcement order after that.
Yeah, it can wait till later,
Well,
I
it's
suppose.
a little more complicated.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. How many more minutes we need here?
2, 3.
Another 2 or 3? Okay.
One according to that.
Right, but we weren't going by that road.
That's not, yeah, that's
Going
not
by
strictly
accurate?
Going
speaking
by
accurate.
Dan.
We'll go, I'll trust Verizon on this.
Dan's good.
Dan's got it covered? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've got 5 on mine, so, or no, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, 3.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Other emails we got sent from.
Brian, I didn't get any DEP file numbers yet.
Did we have something at the last
And I'll
minute?
take care of it soon.
Yes.
Yeah. Usually I get them before the meeting, but I'm sure I'll be getting them.
No,
soon.
just MACC email. Yeah, I got
Yes,
that.
they email it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they just said, hold off on March 5th.
All right. I'm sure I'll probably get it the
I
next
didn't
week.
really pertinent to us.
To issue the order, yeah.
I can follow up.
It's too bad we can't just join those filings together,
Okay.
considering
Well,
it's the same project component.
I know, but I guess there's reasons
That's why I
why.
looked at DEP file numbers.
Is that way you can have an order for one or another or something, I don't know.
The sheet they have to sign up here is the DEP
I
file.
suppose,
That's been submitted to you.
Yeah, it's been submitted to SDEP, but they haven't forwarded me a number yet. They usually email me a number.
I found a shell.
Last
That's just
few, 20 years. But we can't, this is for the order of conditions.
I don't know.
We can't issue the order of conditions until we have a file
I
number.
planned
So
on
if that comes in a couple of days, can,
Oh,
will be
yes.
expedited.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
Seeing them line up, you know, like cornfields behind my house, and they line up at the edge of the woods. When the Canada geese coming.
I found shells.
Okay, so you're aware now. Okay, so you're aware, I just wanted to make sure that you knew. Because up until a few years ago, I never.
Almost there, what do you think?
it looks like we've only got about 30 seconds till it's 7:45,
30
so.
seconds. Sorry to keep you guys waiting.
That's fine.
Open meeting law.
by the way, did you notice they're making snow and doing
Oh,
all
yeah.
that stuff up there?
Oh, of course, of course.
Actually, my cousin, I could have went, he said they had 4 inches of natural the other morning.
I think I heard about that.
So it'll be interesting.
Looks like it's
All
7:45.
right,
There we go.
7:45. I'd like to, we have the meeting for the second, the Lot 3 for Mr. Hauga's Patriot Homes, notice of intent. We have the hearing for that, so I'd like a motion to open the hearing.
I move to open.
I second it.
Any discussion? Sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It's a vote. And again, number 3, let's go for that one.
Again, I'm Brian Larshaw from Graves Engineering. This is Steve
Bracewell.
representing Peter Haga of Patriot Homes LLC. This is for Lot 3 of the newly created 3 lots at 56 Packagug Street.
Okay.
This is a proposed single-family dwelling located in an existing previously disturbed grass area. This lot includes a longer driveway from Packagug Street. Similar situation as Lot 2's proposed house, served by town water and sewer. Similar garage. This one is proposed to have an approximate pool located in the back. Again, the blue shows the wetlands that were flagged. Orange is the 100-foot buffer. Pink is the 25-foot no build, and the 50-foot zone is in yellow. Again, we have a straw wattle along the length of the driveway with the hay bale and silt fence proposed closer to the larger amount of work. Stabilized construction entrance at the entrance to the site. Yep. Any questions?
And this will have town sewer and water as well?
Yes.
And again, you're going to create a foundation.
Yes.
And what will happen with the dirt that gets disturbed?
We'll truck it out of there.
That'll need to be removed.
I don't remember if it's been covered, but when is the plan to work on these properties?
As soon as possible. We're ready to go. We actually have a pre-sale on the corner lot, so as soon as we can, we're gonna break ground.
So you're going to break ground
I'm
before
hoping-
the winter?
We were hoping in December to have a foundation and then start building one, yes.
You working on both houses at the same time?
No, we're gonna do one, and then the other one probably in June, maybe May, June of next year.
Three and then 2.
No, the
Two and
existing house is a farmhouse that we rehab,
Right.
and then we have 2 more that we're gonna do. So we're gonna start the one in the left corner, and then
Okay.
in spring or,
So this one would be in the spring, or this one would be immediately?
the first, the one on the left, I don't know, what lot is it?
Lot,
Three
yeah.
is the one
Okay,
we're
lot-
talking about
That's
now.
three.
Okay, lot 3,
Yeah.
that's the one we wanna start immediately.
You do, okay.
For this
That's one project. What is the length of the driveway?
It's a good question.
It looks pretty long.
It is pretty long.
Yeah, it is.
That's to be paved?
It's gonna be big.
Okay.
400 feet plus or minus.
400-foot driveway.
Yeah, it's gonna be like at least 300.
Is that what you did?
Sorry?
463 feet?
463 feet, I think, is the length of the lot.
It's 379.8 feet
Oh,
from the road to
379.
the house.
Field.
Okay. And you're gonna take water and sewer lines down there. Okay. And, okay, do you have like a drainage, do you do any stormwater calculations for this?
I mean,
We did not.
The kind of the hill goes that way, right, mostly?
Yeah. Everything's sloping in that direction.
I mean, it is pretty flat.
It is fairly, yeah, we've been there, so. Okay. Any questions from the board? And then the pool, what is the size of the pool, you know, by feet?
That's just approximate at this time. Should write this down. I think I did about 20 by 15, 40 by 15 or so.
Is that above ground or in ground? In ground?
In ground, so you, and again, the dirt from that,
You would truck that is.
okay. And that's within 100 feet, but it's not within 50 feet. But it looks like there'll be some grading on that side of the property.
I mean, we'll,
There'll be some grading over here. Some of the grading does extend within the 50 foot, but we kept everything outside of the 25.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions from the audience? Okay. Anyone want to make a motion?
Make a motion that we close the hearing.
A second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Vote. All right, thank you. Thanks. We'll do on this later. We've got about 6 minutes. If you want to do the decision.
I don't want to try.
netting
so-
on it.
Okay. That is-
Round and stuff. Okay.
Okay, all right.
You want to try to do a decision on any of the first two?
Have a good night.
Watch out, it's 7.
Thank you.
That requires so fence, like it's right minimum. That instead.
Yes, you said another 8 minutes. You
Yeah.
know, we could,
Almost 10 minutes.
because you said
Mr.
Oh,
Rapp,
rapper is
he is here, so we could.
Oh, Mr. Rapp is here?
I would, if I may, I would almost recommend that the next item happen ahead of time, and I wouldn't mind if this item came in before the walking trail ahead of me, because
I'm
I
sorry.
don't see the reason to keep our town engineer waiting this week, because he's the next item.
Yeah, he's.
All right.
We're paying him.
So you want, your suggestion, Mr. Benoit, is that we hear the
The regular scheduled
RDA at 8 o'clock.
I think it'd be relatively,
Would be a short issue.
I think so.
Okay.
And then you'll wait for yours?
And I can hold mine.
You can hold yours. All right, well, I mean, we've got 7 minutes. We could do a decision though, or two. What do you think, Dan?
Sounds
Are you
good.
Yeah.
gonna fire one off?
I don't have the special conditions
Do we have
page
the
afterwards.
magic sheet of special conditions?
I have one. I have one right here.
All right, so this is with respect to Mr. Perot, Perot Auto Sale. Notice of
You'll
intent.
have this one down. You'll have this one down. I gave my copy.
Okay.
No, that's, all right.
To issue an order of
We get it back.
conditions.
I move that we issue the order of conditions for Michael Perro Auto Sales, per our special conditions,
Well, standard order
Standard.
plus.
standard order plus. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Do we have BBW?
I don't think so.
Number 8.
Stuff out, that's why they have
I don't know if snow storage is relevant on that site.
Should be.
That would be 9, so we'll say 9.
I would think.
Our lot.
We can do 1, 2, 3, 4,
No.
and then.
11 and 12.
Dan, what did you say after 4? I'm sorry.
What's that?
After 4?
I have 1,
4.
2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 11, and 12.
I missed 8. I missed 8. Thank you. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, so the only issue was that you were wondering if we had DVW or not. And the question that I have here, see them in here. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 11, and 12. Any other further
Everything is
conditions?
previously disturbed.
Do you want to? Okay. All right, so then you have a motion on the table. Is there a
I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It's a vote.
Here you go.
Need a signature sheet, please.
It's weird, it's like a replication of the sword.
Now, Sheila, we would not vote to lift the enforcement order until.
Everything's said and done.
And that would be helpful.
Because apparently.
Dan, I'll swap you. You can have, do you want one?
Sure.
Thanks.
I just keep one on hand. Let's see.
All right, well, we're on a roll. We have 4 minutes, we could try to do another one if you want. On the matter of 19 Hilltop Farm Road. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
now that you're off practice on it. You want to do another one? Or someone else want to take
I
it?
think someone else can
All right.
have the honor.
So, you want to move, does anyone want to move the issue? Order of conditions on this matter?
Oh,
Make a motion.
Okay.
We issue a standard order of special conditions number 1. Don't believe it was replication, that one. 5, 6, 8. $11 and 12.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 11, and 12.
All right.
I think that's it.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? With the conditions? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It's a vote. Okay, we need another signature page.
Coming back. Thank you.
Minutes.
1 minute.
Right.
Just changed on me.
We just changed the 9.
Just as I said it.
Just changed the 9.
Ha. You're good at delivering that across the table. Sometimes less force is better.
But in other words, we could do it, but
You could do it and I wouldn't. I
wouldn't
can't
give it to
finish
them
it
until-
give it to them
okay.
because that's the number.
right.
I don't think it would hurt.
More seconds, I guess.
Couple more seconds.
Getting there.
It is 8.
Being 8 o'clock, we have the Town of Auburn, request for determination. A motion to open hearing.
I'll move to open.
Second.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good evening, Bill Coyle, Town Engineer, DPW Director. As most of you are probably aware, the Town of Auburn is taking over the operations of the Patchogue Golf Course effective January 1st. And so as part of our plans, we're looking to improve the maintenance of the golf course as well. There's many improvements that we are looking to do. Initially, some of the things that we were planning were the clearing around the irrigation pond, the removing of an old fence that was kind of a very unsightly area. So if you've been out there, you can see it's kind of overgrown, a lot of brush. Typically at a golf course, you'll see it tends to be more manicured lawns and much better maintained adjacent to any pond areas that are there. Now this is strictly an irrigation pond that is used for irrigating the tees and greens. And so in addition to removing the brush and the fencing along the first fairway to the end, as you get to the green, there's a very wet area that's identified on the plan. So what we'd like to do is also construct a sub-drain in that area, so during the wet time of year, it won't be so wet, and you would actually be able to get through that area. And typically, if you were to try to drive through there with a golf track in probably April, May, or even probably June, you'll sink out of sight. So the sub-drain will just more or less just kind of de-water the area so that people won't get stuck driving through the fairway. We also will have silt fence proposed along the border of that area where there will be a trench excavated as well. And we do expect to get out there and try to get most of this work done before the snow flies, if that's possible. So we're trying to work with the current management company, Johnson Management, in hopes that they'll allow us in there in the next few weeks to start some of this work.
When is the contract over?
It ends December 31st.
Is this on the first hole? Or the
Yes,
first
the end of the
hole?
first hole, correct.
Okay.
Does it seem amicable that they might let you do that?
Yeah, they've been very good working with us in the transition, so I'm expecting that they're going to allow us to get in there in the next few weeks. You'll see other improvements, just to mention, a lot of that are further away from this area, just some of the dead trees that we're going to be removing, the underside of some of the trees. It's all overgrown, they go right to the ground. We're just looking to trim those up, try to get 10 feet of clearance or so, just so the golfers are able to get into the area, and it neatens the appearance of the golf course up. We have some bridges that we're going to be building in areas where they currently, again, wet areas where they'll throw plywood over these wet areas. We're going to build these bridges off-site during the winter, and then in the spring we're just going to go in and lay them down and install them. So, and there's other work that we're also proposing to do with the clubhouse as well, but that's getting off topic. So, but I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. And then additionally, as part of, I think, our agenda item, I believe you had a site walk last week with a detention pond that we're also proposing to build on the fifth fairway. And this was part of a $65,000 grant that we received from MEMA and FEMA, and the engineering consultant, Comprehensive Environmental Inc. is also here to answer any questions. I think it was probably just going to be a discussion for confirmation that it wasn't going to fall under the Wetlands Protection Act, just to get some formal decision on that as well. So if there's any questions relative to that tonight too, we're also, here and available to speak on that.
Yeah, I don't think the thought at the time that it was jurisdictional, because we didn't get done with on that, in that particular case. But just on this one, so are you planning to take any trees down, or it's just mostly trimming?
Only if there's dead trees. We want to leave the existing trees there, and if it's just overgrown with brush, and we want to remove the brush, the old fencing, and clean the area up. So the trees will stay, again, unless it's a dead tree or split, or something that we don't think is something that should be saved. Our intent is to leave the trees.
This is a man-made pond anyway, right?
Yes.
I hadn't really been following. What is the recent history of the golf course? that it changed hands?
It's actually been operated by Johnson Golf Management for about 20 years now. And a lot of the feedback that we were getting was that the town residents were not happy with how the golf course has been getting maintained and cared for. So there was a lot of movement from our perspective to have the town look at other alternatives. So over the past couple of years, we've been studying the options that were available, and we've been to several selectmen's meetings to present our findings. We visited other golf courses, reviewed their operations, on how they manage their golf courses, which ones were actually profitable, which ones were not, ones that were maintained privately versus some that were maintained 100% by the town. And we visited Green Hill Golf Course that is maintained overall by the DPW, but the actual maintenance occurs by a private contractor. And they're actually losing money, although I think they feel as though it's like any other park, it's there for the benefit of the residents as well. And again, if that's privately maintained. Westboro is similar to that, again, private maintenance, similar to what Package Hog is currently. And then Gardner, which was completely maintained by the city with DPW employees, and it was actually one of the only courses that we visited that was actually making any profit, although not significant. I think just our goal is to at least break even initially, where we have significant investment in golf carts and equipment as well. There's going to be an enterprise account established for this project, similar to the sewer enterprise. So the funds that come in for the golf course are going to be used for the golf course. And our goal is that that enterprise account would completely fund the operations of the golf course. We're looking to hire 2 full-time employees that would be DPW employees, and then the remaining employees would be seasonal staff.
Again, the town owns this land, but it's been sort of run
They've
by
owned
someone
it.
else.
They've owned it for years, and I'd have to go back into the history. It was the Ward family, many years ago, probably 50 years ago or so.
Guy
And it's
set off a rocket
it's
over there.
actually
Some guy.
That's some guy.
Daughter.
yeah. You can actually see at the end of the. It's actually adjacent to the irrigation pond is the actual monument where the
gonna ask
rocket was.
Is that gonna change at all, Bill?
We're looking to try to
It
again.
hasn't really been brought
We're
up.
trying to improve that area from landscaping, draw more attention to it. I think it certainly deserves a lot more respect than it's gotten over the years. So it's one of the other things that we're looking to improve upon as
Okay,
well.
great.
All right, so this includes sort of a drain that's gonna go into the irrigation pond, or?
It'll be completely clean water, just gonna be groundwater.
Okay.
So it's a sub-drain. Currently, we have 2 wells that feed this irrigation pond. One is operational, one we're having problems with the pump. I have an appointment with a pump company Friday to look at what's the cause of that, and also I've been up there with the electrician as well. There's issues with the pumps not operating properly, so that's something we're also gonna be addressing as well.
Just in terms of this RDA, it's just for this work in this area. It's shown on the map.
Correct.
Any other discussion from the board?
The Meadowbrook issue, there was a question on Meadowbrook Road that was resolved, that's being resolved.
That's what the other project would be.
Yeah, that's not really before us.
Right,
Okay.
Right, that was from Saturday's site visit. I think it was,
More of an informational.
Yeah,
thing,
information.
what's
Thank
really
you.
going on.
exactly.
Any comment from the public on this? Okay. Have a motion?
Motion to close?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That's a vote.
Thank you very much. And if you have any questions relative to the other project, you can give me a call, at the office tomorrow as well.
Thanks.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank
you.
you.
Now, you want me to stay for the trail?
Up to you, we're gonna do this first.
Okay.
Focus here.
Yeah. Okay, I think it's time that we,
Still got another,
well, right, but I think it's time that we discuss the matter of Mr. Rafa and Elizabeth Drive. Is Mr. Rafa here?
Yes.
Hi, can you come up, please? State your name and your address, please.
Sure. Paul Raffa, 23 Elizabeth Drive, Millbury.
Okay, Mr. Rafa. So we received a letter from you on the 8th of November. Would you like to discuss your activities or just
I guess I
some
can start by
information
asking
about-
why, what's the purpose of me coming here? I'm not requesting this meeting, so I will respond, I guess, to whatever is asked. But this, as far as I'm concerned, everything I brought in here was pretty much everything that needs to be said.
Well, I mean, we were contacted about activities in the area, so we were responding by just gathering information and determining what, if anything, we need to do about it. We appreciate the information you've given here.
You're welcome. Copies were also distributed to anybody who was there that day as well.
Okay. And we went and we visited and you provided some plans here that show that you have a tree harvesting plan for some of your land. And also, I think there has been a number of correspondences about one of the lots, maybe not including the one that you have the foresting on.
You mean 16, yeah, that is not part of the forest plan.
Right, and that's a different lot. So I think there's really, as the chairman has said when we visited, there's really two issues, so two separate lots and two issues. And I think, I don't know what the opinion of the board is, but I think it's clear that on the lot where the foresting is going on, it appears that, you know, everything is in order. I mean, the Department of Conservation has given you all these permits and things. You started those activities.
I spoke with him as well earlier this week, and just to confirm, and he said, yeah, there's no change, no anything that's any different from his approval from before.
Yep, okay. The only other question, I guess, is on the other lot. Now, when we visited to gather information, we took a walk around there and did notice that there was a wetland pretty far back from the existing road. Clearly, to me, more than 100 feet from where the road ends. So in the current state of things, it's more than 100 feet from the wetland to this road. I didn't see a whole lot of activities going on. However, in the past, there was a problem in that area. And I think, Mr. Benoit, you may have been involved with the complaint that went on during the construction of this lot.
Yes.
Do you care to add anything?
Sure, through the chair. 2008, previous landowner, not Mr. Rafa, cleared his lot, not knowing, the commission didn't know his intention for the lot at the time, whether he was building a house
Just,
or
if I
whatever.
can just interrupt a
Sure.
little bit. So, as you said, it was not Mr. Raff.
That's correct.
It was a previous owner
Right.
had some activities in this area.
Yeah, they
In 2000.
that's correct. That's correct. And he cleared trees in the wetland area deep down the slope, in addition to up top the slope. Commission issued an enforcement order, and the previous owner disappeared, never responded.
Now, which lot was
Eventually-
that? Was this
It
the?
was this lot. It was lot 10R, also known as 16 Elizabeth Drive. So it is in 1992, when our planning board issued a modification to definitive plan, this lot is not to be considered a building lot. It's also, it's written in the decision, the subdivision approval for this lot. And that's well known. That's a detention basin for drainage off the road.
Right.
So,
But there is no plan at the current time before us, anyway, of building on this lot.
that's correct. But it was mostly brought to our attention, at least my attention then, by some of the community and the neighbors for this area about the not buildable status of this lot, and at the time that the activity was done. So Yeah, I think it's been done of us before, so
Okay.
it does have its history.
So what was the, was an enforcement order issued?
It was. And we
what-
never,
Okay, and it's still in effect?
technically it was never vacated.
It was never vacated?
The previous owner never followed through.
Okay, and so
What was,
that was 2000?
7 years ago.
okay.
So when he disturbed us, is it along?
Did they go on to, did they go on indefinitely,
An enforcement order?
your enforcement order?
I'd have to check.
I mean, I'm not a
Seems like
legal
they-
expert, I'll just
seems
say I'm the
like-
vice chairman of this,
Yeah.
but,
Seems like they're not.
If
Right, what happens if the owner changes?
Through the chair, I mean,
Yes.
we know that, we understand that wetland flaggings need to be updated at once every 3 years. We're talking about 2 of those cycles over that period of time, so
Right.
it's safe to say that either that, number 1, the wetlands could have changed over time, or number 2, that they've also revegetated over time, so.
right.
Not completely
Oh.
to how they were when the large trees were taken down, but
Right. It's clear to me the current condition is that the wetland is quite a ways back from where the road is. And it's also clear that it doesn't look like there's any logging activity going on, just from what I saw in that area. I'm not sure about the enforcement order. That fits into this though.
I don't believe that, for the chair, that it should hold anything to the current owner. I could be wrong, question for council, but it
What
really,
was the gist of the enforcement order, do you recall?
it was to stop work.
Just stop work.
Come in with a notice of intent for whatever you're supposed to do, and that never happened.
Okay,
So,
so it's essentially cease and
Right,
desist
and-
of building activities.
right. So,
Which there haven't been any.
I guess today it would be sensible to ask Mr. Raffle what his intention is with the lot, and if there's anything before you today.
All right, sorry to interrupt you, Mr.
No, it's fine.
Brown.
Yeah, no, I'm,
From someone who knew what the enforcement order was
no,
back
I'm
then, I don't
interested
know.
myself. I'm kind of curious, and I mean, I'm getting more insight on why I'm even here, so.
Okay.
Yeah, my intentions, the reason I was down there cutting until I was stopped was to clean up the roadside, clean up the lot. Neighbors have been using it as a dump, and I've been picking it up. I got tired of asking to have it stop, and and I didn't mention it to everybody because I didn't catch everybody, but it has been used as public access for years, and I think the biggest issue that I'm getting is that it's my private property now, and I need that to be respected. And I am more than aware of what conservation means, and I'm more than aware of when I'm in an area like that, as is my logging permit. They are logging in the wetlands, but that's with DCR oversight. So if I chose to put 16 Elizabeth in that logging plan and the DCR approved it, I would do it, but that's only with the proper permitting. I'm not going in there to build houses, to do anything other than clean it up and make it look respectable and use it for my own personal use, which is my right.
So the activities you were talking about on that lot, what kind of things were you talking about?
You mean what I was doing that day?
Or whatever, you said you were doing some activities to clean things up.
I was
Pick up trash?
Cutting
or
brush, picking
or
up
you-
trash, putting the stray rocks that I'm assuming the previous owner had strewn back on there's sort of an embankment on the side, and there are big boulders up there, and a whole bunch of them have been spilled over.
Were you using
Cleaning up
heavy equipment or just like hand equipment?
both. I have I was using that to move some of the brush around, yeah, but nothing, no like hydro axes or anything like that. I mean, any
'Cause I didn't
trees.
see like big trenches of anything that
There
was
aren't-
near the wetlands.
There aren't any in the wetlands, no.
Okay, so but you're talking about, you were sort of stabilizing the slope up by the road and maybe cutting some brush and stuff like that?
Yeah, my attempt is to put it back in the condition it probably looked like when that subdivision was new. Put everything
Okay.
back, level all the ground back off, grass, flowers, trees, trim the trees that are there that are nice, get rid of the garbage, and get rid of the broken, damaged trees and thorns, that kind of stuff, to make it look the way I want it to look. And then later on, the intention is to clean the retention pond up as well, as needs to be done. The trees are growing all through the chain link fence. It's damaging the fence. Branches have broken and fallen on top of pieces of it, so it needs to get cleaned up, and that's...
I think, just for the record, I think the chairman and I took a walk around the detention basin, and we did see some evidence of the fence being open.
That had been like that before I had.
Typically, yeah, I'm not saying, but I'm not sure, Mr. Benoit, but I think typically a lot of times the town maintains detention basins, or whose job is it to keep that fence?
Yeah, so, Mr. Chairman, when we have new roads in town, and which DPW director.
Oh, that's right, this was
answer, but-
accepted as a public way, right?
Yeah, this at first, so a typical road project would have all of its appurtenance, stormwater and everything, including the road accepted to town. This particular lot, I don't believe had an easement for town to
It's not.
access and maintain that detention pond.
Okay.
So that's
It's meant
the
to be,
difference here.
yeah, it's meant to be privately maintained. It's from the old subdivision rules, not the new ones.
Correct.
New ones require it to be town maintained, the old ones,
So that's where the
unfortunately.
confusion was in.
Yeah.
So, but we took a walk around it, we did see, you know, the wetland further behind the detention basin. We did see some activities of some of the logging on the other side that you were talking about. And we saw the hole in the fence.
Yeah, that,
You know.
that has to get repaired, but that's after the trees are moved, then it can get put back together. All the pieces are there. It's just,
Yeah.
somebody had unraveled it at one point,
Right.
and the pole is on the ground. It just needs to get put back.
And I guess, like you say, if it's not a town maintenance thing, it's just something to think about your own liability to keep that
Oh, yeah.
tightened up.
That's
So-
what the posted signs are for.
Okay. All right. Is there any other discussion from the board about this issue? Anyone? I mean, you went out with us that day,
did.
right?
May I ask when do you want to see me? What type of activities, or do you want to see me when I go and clean around the retention pond? Or do you not want that?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, you seem to be doing everything with the logging correctly by your forms. This other lot does not appear to be jurisdictional to us, at least for the activities up by the road. Our enforcement order only applied to building activities that were going on at the time. I could be wrong here. So, but we do have, you know, we have a complaint in front of us, so we wanted to just gather information, see if there's something there. So, we're just getting your side of the story. That's what we're doing right now. Is there any comment from the public? And if you're going to comment, please say your name and your address, please, so we can know.
Sure. Go ahead.
Chris?
My name's John Horak. I live at 14 Elizabeth Drive,
Okay.
which abuts lot 10,
Alright.
which is the one,
16 Stockton Hill.
what?
Which is 16.
Which is 16 that you're talking about, yes.
Okay.
But it's lot 10 on our plan. So I did file a complaint on that, and it was because there was current tree cutting activity in there, and there was an enforcement activity here, which I do have a copy of if you would like that. Then the question that I had is, it doesn't appear that that land has been, as I think Matt said, that there's been any activity on that restoration, and the restoration was part of the enforcement activity. As far as I know, that there's still a illegal drainage pipe, which I think Matt may have a picture of, in the property, that there is still illegal fill on the land that was never removed, and that there was no revegetation ever done. So I would think that the current owner would be responsible for that as well.
All right. Sir?
Joe Dragon, I live across the street. Back when the Orello guy owned that property, he actually went out there, put pipes, dug trenches to move the water away from lot 10. You could probably, Matt walked around with me back in that day when we started this complaint. There were trenches cut from a big excavator to drain the water out, and there was a hole with a pipe in it. They could put a sump pump in when he was trying to test that to get it to perk. So, you saying that you walked around that and there was no water there, I can tell you, up until 7 years ago, that pond was always full. Haven't seen water in there since they did all this work. So are we taking, I mean, what I'm looking at is, isn't it illegal to drain a wetlands?
as, I think as was mentioned, conditions do change. It's hard for us to go back, and I understand what you're saying. We did have an enforcement order for a reason.
And the enforcement order is right where he was cutting down more trees, same exact spot. He brought fill in, raised it up, and got that to perk.
When you say he,
No,
I'm
not
talking
Paul,
about
not
Mr.
Paul, I'm
Rapp.
talking about
just to
the
be clear,
previous owner, yes.
all right?
But when we got together as a neighborhood, and a number of the neighbors have had issues with water in their yards and in their property, and that could be, a product of what was done to that particular wetland. So I would think people would want that corrected to help eliminate the problems that they're having. And then when we filed the complaint on the wetland, that's when I became aware of the logging permit that Paul had. And as a neighborhood, when we got together, we also had issues with the logging permit that really go back to some other legal issues that may involve this board and may not involve this board. But some of those were that there was no proper notification, drainage and water issues for the abutters and the neighborhood, that it is designated as a commercial logging activity. We have restrictive covenants within our neighborhood that you can't do certain things, and one of those is that you can't, have a commercial operation within that subdivision. And that subdivision, it's a residential area. I'm not really aware of too many commercial logging operations going on next to your house, next to my house, or anybody else's house.
Well, this is under the supervision of DCR, so
Does that count
whether or not that's a legal issue with your covenants is not something I can be able to
No,
decide.
I can understand that.
I'm just looking for jurisdictional, they take jurisdiction over that.
And we appreciate the fact that you stopped any cutting activity, logging right now, so that we could get together as a meeting. And I guess what we're asking for is your intervention again to give us time, because we weren't properly notified about the logging activity, so that we can prepare a legal response. We already have sought out legal counsel, and we just need more time to file a legal response.
May I respond to
I'm not
three
gonna-
different points?
Okay, just one moment.
Sure.
I'm not going to get into a civil disagreement. I'm here to talk about whether we have jurisdiction over the complaint that was brought up, okay? Because for one thing, I'm not a lawyer, but I do know what our bylaws are, okay? As far as public notification, not really my area on DCR, but I can say that pretty much, they take precedence over the town bylaw. So if things are in order with them, it's perfectly proper for him to exercise his rights on his private property for that lot. For this other lot, I was just saying, it didn't appear to be any activities in that lot now.
And which other lot, just to make sure?
I'm talking about the lot 16.
Lot 16, which is
There
also
didn't appear
lot
to
10.
be any activities right now of logging or any other kind that I could see, even though he said, there was some machines moving things around. To me, it didn't look like there was a lot going on there. But, sorry, Mr. Rafa.
I just want to comment on a couple of things. The first point that was mentioned was drainage. Every person behind me is on a level higher than that lot, so drainage goes down, not up. So if that property is flooding their land, that would be very interesting. In terms of clear cutting and how it was mentioned that this isn't happening anywhere, right on Barnes Street, actually in a butter to me, is clear cutting a lot with some sort of machine ripping that lot clear. So the comment of it not happening and we don't like it, it is happening. Equidistant, if not closer to them than the logging that's going to be commencing. And the last part on commercial logging, it is not commercial, it's personal. And I also gave them I actually gave Joe a brochure from the DCR that explains the Chapter 61 program, how it's residential and how it works, and how logging is part of that. And it's meant to be forest management and the steward of the land, not commercial purposes. The logs are coming down to protect the forest. They have to go somewhere. So there's no reason they can't be sold on a one-time use. This isn't a continued operation. It is a forest management plan to protect the woods and put it in a better shape than it was when I bought it, so.
And not speaking to any of those legal things, as a conservationist,
Yeah.
I never like to see trees get cut down. But if it's being done in the proper way, using the proper authorities,
Yeah.
that, you know, that's
So-
the way to go.
What about the staging area that he has set up is along,
Sorry.
I'm sorry, Joe.
Just, again,
Joe
identify
Dragon.
yourself.
The staging area, what I saw that Paul had sent us, it looks like the staging area is gonna be off with like 20 to 30 feet away from the retention pond. You got the plan there, so
Yeah.
now how long are they gonna sit there?
Well,
How long is it gonna sit where?
Those logs in the staging area?
The logs come out of the woods, they go in a truck and they leave. They're not gonna
And it's
sit.
18 tractor trailer loads, is what I understand.
excuse me, ma'am, can you identify?
I'm sorry, Christine Herbert, 50
Okay.
Elizabeth Drive.
50 Elizabeth,
I
okay.
was told by Guy LaChance from the Forestry Board, and I'm still waiting for a phone call back from him. He was speaking with his supervisors regarding the legal issues of filling out a form incorrectly with the state. He did tell me that it was 18 tractor trailer trucks that would be coming into our neighborhood. That's an awful lot of traffic in a very small residential area. Probably something that the planning board or DPW or police department or a lot of other people would want to find out about so that they could manage all of that traffic and take care of the roads properly. There are a lot of things that come into play with this.
Who's cleaning
It's
up the
also
road?
got to be done. He has a plan where he renews this every year. 18 tractor trailers, that's a lot of trees. This forestry plan that he has is something that he's doing to make money. Someone gave us a number of about $100,000. I don't know. I don't
A
know
lot of
how they figure
assertions
board
going on
fee.
here.
That's a lot of money.
You know,
So I guess
let's not-
that's what's motivating him to
again.
do this, but as far as we're concerned, it doesn't provide anything for anyone as a resident of Auburn or of our neighborhood. It's only gonna serve to destroy the roads, cause problems for us.
Yeah, I mean,
destroy
I
what we
can't get
see.
into, you know,
If you
we
have,
only have a purview over certain things. We
I know, but what I
talk
wanted
about
to
the
explain is
road and, you know,
there's,
traffic and
this
stuff
is
like that.
one piece of land that there can never be another house on per the restrictive covenants that we have.
Mhm.
It does happen to be 20 acres. Mr. Rafford knew that when he bought it. He also has had discussions with builders regarding how he was gonna divide this up. We've been.
Well, I don't want to
So-
get into assertions about what someone may
Okay,
have,
so
may have not have
that's
said.
fine, but there seems to be no purpose to take down all these trees if
No. I mean,
you're not gonna do anything else with it.
again, this is someone's private property.
But you
So long
can't,
as they do things along a certain process, that's what we have to make sure and do.
Right, but he
And
has
I'm not
not.
gonna say that I like one thing or another. As a conservationist, as I say, I may have an opinion, but that's not to affect, you know, what's proper to be done on this board. I mean, I can't just say, well, you know, I don't like what someone's doing over here. That's their own private property. I can't, you know, we have to rule what the law applies to.
Okay, but in this situation, the forestry plan, Mr. Raffer himself told me that he did not notify the conservation. He did not notify the abutters.
The forestry plan.
Oh, you guys.
The forestry plan that you have, you received after the fact. And the only reason you got it, I guess, is because
Well, there's
he knew that I had called and made a
Right, but
complaint.
I don't think that there's a
There is-
requirement that they do that.
Yes, it
I could
is.
be
He
wrong.
signed a paper under the pains of perjury that he notified the abutters, that he notified the conservation department, and he also had the authority to take down these trees. And we feel that that was done incorrectly. He signed it under the pains of perjury. He told me himself that he never notified the conservation department. He told me himself that he never notified the abutters.
I'm sorry,
Mr.
can we,
No, thank you.
The state is
Can we please-
concerned, and the state does not check on that information.
I'm gonna have order. People are not just gonna yell at me, okay? I'm chairing this meeting, so we're gonna talk in an orderly fashion. Are there any other comments? Yes,
Joe Dragon.
Yeah.
On the area that he was currently working in a couple weeks ago, at one time it was wetlands and considered wetlands. Phil had been brought in there. Isn't there a way to do a soil sample to test to see if there was a wetland? If that was part of those wetlands? It's got to be in the soil I would understand correctly.
My concern is, do we need to establish what responsibility the present owner has vis-a-vis the prior owner's situation? I mean, what is the status of that?
The enforcement order, that was my question.
I mean,
what is the status of the enforcement order?
because we may have three different issues going on here, and we need to iron out what responsibility Mr. Rafa has for the prior situation, if any.
Yeah, Matt, you had a comment. Did you have something you wanted to insert?
Yeah, so it's just, that's the same thing I wrote down.
I mean, I feel like, just speaking for myself, I feel like we need an advisory opinion from DEP on this.
Exactly, I was thinking.
Because we are not experts on this material, and we can't just have assertions that someone is doing something improperly. If we're not in a position to comment on whether they've done it properly, then we're just spinning our wheels here.
Unless there's a plan in front of the board, sorry, through the chair, there's no way to know.
Yeah,
I mean,
I guess-
we need some advice on this, basically. We need advice on this.
To the chair, is all of the property located within Auburn? Is all of this property that we're discussing located within Auburn? Because I understand that some of the recipients along Elizabeth Drive receive Auburn mail and Worcester mail, Millbury and Auburn, and they also pay taxes to Millbury and Auburn.
Well, I mean, we
So I
can
don't
only
know.
rule on the parts that are
Right.
in Auburn.
Right, that's
So-
all, so what we're talking about is just in Auburn?
Yes.
Okay, so we
Right.
can move on. So I can-
Through the chair, the forestry land is what's possibly Millbury lots 10 or 16 Elizabeth is not split in both towns. I think that's the one in front of us today.
Thank you.
And just my own opinion as town planner, it sounds like we're talking about routine cleanup on a lot that may or may not still have an enforcement order.
Well, that
I'm
was
inclined to believe no, but
My
I'd
point
like to find
is,
out more
having
ideas.
seen it with my eyes,
Right.
what's going on right now is not a construction project.
Then doesn't appear that that's the case at this point. You're not trying to.
Now, whether or not the previous enforcement order has to have something done on it, I think we do need to look into, if it's some kind of restoration plan. That was the assertion that was made. I think we need to find out, and with DEP, as you suggested.
And it sounds like there's also been an assertion made that this forestry plan was not obtained properly. We also need an official ruling on that,
Okay.
because that's another assertion that's been
Because
made
typically
here.
we do get emails about forestry plans, and I've seen them before, and maybe I did get one that's in my folder, because I have gotten them.
So, if I'm not hearing this correctly, Mr. Chairman, possibly the commission to either request Sheila or I contact DEP for a ruling on a 7-year-old enforcement order and a transfer of ownership, and possibly request information from DCR regarding notification of the commission. So,
Does someone want to make a motion to that effect?
I make a motion that we follow exactly what Matt just proposed, as far as getting further information.
DEP about
From
the
DEP.
enforcement order
About the enforcement order
and the
from DEP.
notification process.
and the notification process.
And I would add clarification from DCR regarding the status of this forest cutting plan.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? To vote. Is there anything else that you wanted to say about this right now?
in the meantime, through the chair, is there any restriction, conservation bestows on the property or anything?
I don't think at this moment that we need to do anything on the area we have jurisdiction on.
Sure.
But we need to look into what's going on with the enforcement order.
Yeah.
Because we have an existing enforcement order, I don't think we need another one.
If that's the case.
Yeah.
But it depends on whether the conditions in the initial enforcement order are relevant to the use the site's being put to now, so. But whether the current homeowner bears responsibility for that, that's the major.
All All right, well, hopefully, we can look into this, and, I guess,
I mean, I do want to solicit, I mean, if there's anything we can answer,
Yeah,
can
is
do
there
with, I mean,
anything
is there
else
any...
from-
I guess my question is, where does that leave us now? When we leave this meeting tonight, does Paul have the right to go back and start logging tomorrow? Or until you get further information, nothing's gonna happen? Because I mean, as citizens, one, and taxpayers, two, I mean, we're asking you as a public entity to look into it, represent us, and do the right thing. And it says in that form that he had the right to cut down that woods. Our restrictive covenants in that neighborhood, he doesn't have the right
Well, again-
to do that.
again,
And what we
I-
need from you is time
Well,
to
what I-
prove that versus
Well,
just
what I
8
won't-
days.
yeah, what I won't do is get involved in a civil matter of your covenants, but, is there a suggestion from the board on this? Do we want to have a motion?
I mean,
Didn't we just make the motion?
I have a suggestion as staff,
Matt?
Further motion?
if that's okay. I don't believe
Mr. Benoit?
the commission has anything right now where they could, that would back any sort of stop work unless we can receive that from either DEP or DCR. So until that
Yeah, I mean,
information would be received,
On the logging, we don't have jurisdiction on
Right.
that because DCR has overriding jurisdiction, as far, in my opinion. There is no construction project on the other lot. There's nothing before us that says. So unless we had seen, if we had gone out there and seen that he was driving a bulldozer through the wetland on the other lot, we would have said, okay, enforcement order, stop what you're doing. I didn't see that.
I mean, I guess in the short term, what we can ask is, Mr. Raffa, what do you see as your intent in the next, like, 6 months on the parcel?
Which parcel?
the
10
intention
and 16.
I asked him. Thank you.
16.
16.
There is no intention, there's no building, I'm not interested in getting into shouting matches with the neighbors, so I have no need to clear it right now. If I do catch more people using it as a dumping ground, I will come back to the commission and ask to have it more formally taken care of.
Right.
My intention is to keep it open and clean so my security cameras can see who's dumping. That's really what I wanted to do, because I was tired of picking up everyone else's trash.
So it sounds like that sort of, that should allay some concern about plans to cut on the site in the near term, until we can find some clarification.
Should not be doing anything.
And this packet that I gave to all of you and to them should as well, but some of the things that were spoken are in complete opposite of state law, other things that are in here, so
It'll help once we have official clarification.
yep, that's fine.
So the question is, does he need to refrain from doing anything there? Or-
I don't know
Doesn't
that
sound
we
like we
can
have
tell
the
him
basis
not to
to-
do it.
Okay.
Right.
If he's
So
not-
what I'm
If he's
saying,
not working
It's
in the
his-
wetland,
if
we can't tell
he's
him to
not
stop.
working in our area of jurisdiction, I don't think we can ask that, well, I mean, we're gonna look into this, obviously, and to determine if in fact we do have jurisdiction or if
Right.
there's a problem.
Right.
But as of right now, unless the board feels differently, if someone wants to make a motion, then they're perfectly free to do that. Me personally, I don't think we have any right to tell him with his proper forms that he can't do what he's doing right now. The other lot, it's not covered by this, but I don't see any evidence of activities. That was my, what I get out of going up there.
Someone in the audience?
And someone, sorry,
Allison Merriman.
yes.
So you're saying that you don't think you have
Jurisdiction to say.
jurisdiction at this point, but how long would it take you to get the information back that you're requesting,
Well, I mean, Sheila,
realistically?
Be by our next meeting, I would say.
yeah.
It's,
Hopefully a month.
through the chair, I could make these calls tomorrow. As soon as the information is returned to us, I typically notify the chairman. And if the chairman, based on whatever information he receives, can take action via enforcement if necessary. But it depends on when we get back.
I mean, we don't have an official meeting until, is it the 16th?
No,
The 9th?
Yeah.
The 8th and 9th, yeah.
So looking at
Nine.
3
So
weeks.
we could put an agenda
No, it's
item
the
on.
16th, because we only have
So
one
this-
meeting next month.
No, it's the 9th.
That's the 9th.
Oh, it's the 9th, okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's what we went with?
Yeah. So we could have an agenda item to follow up on the 9th.
We should get some information.
And I believe it's important for us to maintain open communication with the property owners.
Right.
To appease the neighborhood, I will not do anything until the next meeting on 16 Elizabeth. I have no reason to, so if that makes everyone happier, I'm happy to do that.
Is there any other comments?
I just had a question is,
Sure.
because it's been some time, but we went through a lot of trouble last time with the enforcement, doing the right thing as a neighborhood group, and got the enforcement done, and then nothing was done with the enforcement. I'm just asking you, who was responsible for following through to make sure that that enforcement activity was supposed to be done? Was it the state DEP, was it our own conservation committee, or who
Well-
was that, and how did it happen that nothing
Not
was done?
having been on the board at that time, I can't really say, but I can say that part of the enforcement was to cease and desist construction activities, which I think nothing was constructed on that lot. Is that correct?
No,
Would you
but,
like a copy?
but even maybe more important to that would be restoration of that
That's
land.
part- that's
okay,
true.
For
That
conservation.
is part of the thing we have to look into.
And nothing was done with that. And I guess just, as an individual, I'd just like to know, where did we drop the ball? Was it at the state DEP, that's someone we can talk to? Did we drop it locally here in the town, or what? Is
We
that-
need to look into the
And
code
there was
enforcement. order.
truckloads of fill that were brought down in there.
And nothing was truckloaded out.
Right.
I mean, I think that it was obviously acknowledged that there was something because there was an enforcement order.
But once again, it just falls back to the responsibility of the current owner for the actions of the prior owner, and we need to find out what that is.
We need to sort out exactly what can be done in the current state.
Did she have
Yeah.
to start
I'd like to give you a copy of it.
I have a copy of it, thank you.
You didn't have, I thought you had your hand up.
The other thing I wanted to comment
Yeah.
on is, he talked about how he wanted to clean things up. We had a problem walking down the sidewalk. There's a lot of stuff that's growing up next to the sidewalk, the trees and things that hang over. And that wasn't what Mr. Rappa was cleaning up. He was cleaning up in the lot beyond that. And I would think that if your intention was to make things clean and neat,
Right,
it would be...
well, I'm not gonna get into
Yeah, we can't
how
comment on
people
this.
maintain their yards and stuff like that. That's beyond our purview. Is there anyone else who wants to? A lot of people here who must have come all this way to say something. Seriously, I want more feedback if we can get it.
You got the whole
How do
neighborhood
people
here.
feel?
Yeah, there's a lot of people from Barnes and stuff.
Anything different, so we're not repeating the same stuff.
Yeah, just so they're not repeating the same thing over and over.
Allison Berryman again. I'm here, I live on South Street, directly behind the lots where the intention of the logging is.
Yep.
And I have a very strong concern about the impact of the logging, how it's gonna affect the drainage down towards my house right now. We've always had a water issue coming down from the hill behind me, which is Elizabeth Street. And I'm very concerned about what's gonna happen with all the trees being cut and how, I've had, when Elizabeth Street was being constructed, a lot of the houses there, well, everything was being shifted, and I've had up to 12 inches or more of water in my basement during these construction times. So, more breaking up of the land is very much concern to me, and the animal life that's out there. I mean, you're just pushing everything. We don't live in the city, we live in the town. Why aren't we trying to keep it?
Sure, Mr. Rappa.
If I may respond, I do not know who you are, I apologize, but many of you were given this paperwork and many of you were invited to come look at this property with me. You responded, you picked a date, and nobody showed up. My intention was to walk the property with everybody, show you every single tree that was being cut. This is a select cut, not a clear cut.
This is not strip cutting, this is not, just like that lot on, whether there's Barnes or South, that's strip cutting. That's not what's going on here. So, information removes fear, and that was what I was trying to do by being full disclosure. Instead of that, I hear lies, I hear
Okay,
mistruths.
Mr. Rafa, I
So-
don't want to have too much, it
Okay.
really should be through me.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I think we're really gonna have to wait for the next meeting to get
do.
clarification, then we can actually
Get forward with this stuff.
Meantime,
details
he
instead of
said-
assertions.
Okay.
And he said he's not going to be doing anything on that property until this
Right.
time, so we're looking at approximately 3 weeks, is that correct? About 3 weeks, which time we'll have something.
All right, so can we put an agenda item on for the next time?
In the time.
Do we have anything
Well,
on the
actually,
agenda
we
yet?
need an agenda item.
We don't.
Miscellaneous.
It'll be miscellaneous, okay.
Right.
What date is that? December what?
That'll be
9th.
December 9th at
Second.
7 PM is when the hearings start, but it won't be an official hearing. It'll just be
I
an
think I've got the
agenda item.
mall project coming in, I'm not sure.
Okay. And we'll have hopefully sorted out the enforcement
Okay.
ordinance. Okay. Thank everyone for participating, by the way, even though it's a tense thing. To get this information out and so that people understand we are following a process. It's not just a random. So, thank you.
Thank you. You get this like thrown in your lap. Okay.
All right, being after 8:15, the next agenda item is a hearing for the Town of Auburn request for determination for light construction and routine maintenance of the public walking trail. Actually, a very interesting topic that everyone's leaving for. This is like way better than what we just did.
You are so right. You came this way.
This is, okay. Matt Benoit is here.
There you go.
Representing the Town of Auburn.
All right, Matt.
He's going to give a presentation about
You think you want the
an
keyboard as well?
exciting new project.
Oh, because you've already got it queued up. All right.
So,
Hi. All right.
All right, here we are.
Good evening, members of the board.
Oh, I jumped back.
Open the hearing
Jump
yet?
back.
Probably want something there.
Gotta prove that.
No, we didn't. No motion to open the hearing?
Need a motion?
I make
Yes.
that motion to open the
I'll
hearing.
second that. All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
So who
Go ahead,
motioned?
Matt.
You?
I opened it and Dan
Second.
seconded it. Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Request for determination.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Matthew Benoit, Town Planner of Auburn. On behalf of the Town of Auburn for a proposed walking and hiking trail on town property at 203 and a half Packagug Street, also known as the Pappas Recreation Complex. I'm just going to go through a little history of the project and how we got here today. So, through a master plan and open space recreation plan over the course of the last 9 years, the town residents have made it very clear that there is a need for passive recreation use in town. And just recently, this past January, we had the opportunity to apply for a grant for $15,000 from the Blackstone Heritage Corridor to construct a trail system, was our application at the time. This grant was offered to Auburn because Auburn became the most recent town added to the Heritage Corridor. So now we are the northernmost point of the corridor. We're kind of the entry point. So one of the main things that feeds the Blackstone River is this diversion channel, which happens to be right near this land. So on April 29th, we received approval from the Blackstone. There were 33 applications, and they noted that ours seemed to have stood out over the rest. It's very humbling to hear. So this past June, we got started on the project. I organized a meeting with town staff, town engineer, IT department, members of DPW, as well as planning division, and Eric and myself. So we kicked off the meeting and talked about the trail system and how we're gonna have access points. So I'll open the plan first. You should have received. It looks like this. With your packet.
Take the bike there. People aren't hunting.
Also went on a site walk with Mr. Chairman and I'm Mike Garland, I'm Chairman President today.
Yes, the vice chairman and the chairman.
Yes.
Did you go to?
So what we have,
That's right, that's right.
Great time.
this is the same one in front of you today, but just to give the folks a kind of a point of reference.
It's a huge area.
Very large area. We're talking about 120 acres. If you include the fields, that's a 50 acre parcel, you have about 70 acres left over. So the area of the trails doesn't cover all of it because there's some down gradient, but we have our two possible access points. You can see my laser pointer on the screen. There's a small parking lot right when you enter the Pappas Recreation Complex. It's kind of off away from the fields for some reason. Seems like it needed some utilization. So that seems like a pretty good point and parking area for a trail system.
It is.
What you're seeing on this plan, the red constitutes existing trails. These trails are already there. They just need some TLC. They need a little care, some widening. In some instances, there's some brush that just closes in over the trail. I will note that there's a lot of flowering vegetation that brings bees and, as strongly suggests, long sleeves and long pants. It was brought to my attention earlier tonight that if anyone was thinking about visiting this trail to check it out over the fall, it is hunting season right now, and if you're going to do that, please wear bright colors. This is town property, and residents are allowed to visit it at this time. It is not a finished project, obviously, because we have work to do. So the red trails are what's existing. These are old farm trails from when they still harvest corn on the property, and they wrap all the way across the back to this area, and running along the perimeter of the property is a easement for a sewer line. Or, I don't know if it's a water main or not, but the DPW.
It's actually very convenient.
A little more about this. Yeah, so it was already cleared for us.
There's a road there.
Exactly.
You don't have to do any work. It's
So
there.
this one along the outer edge follows that easement, and it's just north of, you can see the contour lines here, where there's, well, it's dry now, but a river at some point. It's probably about 50 to 60 feet drop off from this
It's not
point.
just a river. There's these big rocks.
Yes,
down there.
it
And
was
they're
a
like almost
gorge.
the size of this table,
Right.
and they're placed.
Right. So our proposed network, and there's more trail network that we didn't outline because we don't want to cross this large river. So we tried to stay above it, and the sewer easement gave us the ability to do that. So I'm going to show us some photos and perhaps another plan. I'll actually hand out a couple copies of this now. Eric Lesperance, our energy manager, primarily did a lot of the work on this plan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, that's
No, stick one and pass.
phase one survey up.
This one's a little bit of a zoom.
Okay, yeah.
It's going to show.
How's the difference? Who did this?
It's going to show kind of the area, the main area of interest here. So off the back of the soccer field is an existing path. And you can see that right here in the first picture. In the fall, it's a lot easier to see, but in the summer, it's hard to see. It's a nice little trail though. So Site A on the map in front of you is a crossing from the soccer field to the baseball field. And it's paved, it's already part of the project. But right off the edge, right underneath me is a bridge with a small culvert, and the river kind of runs off to this side here. It's dry now, but there's a path on this side that would serve as a better entrance.
Oh, that's where the bridge is.
Exactly.
Okay.
Would serve as a better entrance than this because where I'm standing is a hill. So it doesn't make sense to put a sign or have people just kind of drop down the hill. So Site A, if you look down on this image here, kind of right about here where you start seeing the yellow trees, would be a way to cut across and get rid of, these are all mostly autumn olive trees, exotic invasive trees that shouldn't be there at all, and there's a bunch of them.
Lots and lots.
This is not something that could have been hand blazed under, and the brush hogger, some work needs to be done. So that is site A, is what I'm showing as a modification of the trail to connect an actual entrance instead of coming off the hill and using this path. Although people would still be able to use this. So.
When you say coming up, you mean behind the soccer field?
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
it's just
the
a paved-
Yeah, that's the way we went,
Right,
but it was kind of like, yeah,
exactly.
coming up a retaining wall or something.
Yes. So it's quite the slope, and we don't want people getting hurt before they get to the trail.
To the actual trail,
So-
right?
Right.
So I'm gonna show site B on our plan.
Oh, yeah.
This is, so
Golly, a big one.
I got a chance to walk this with the town engineer, and we'll see if he ends up coming back later. There's an existing path indicated by the gray dotted line on the plan. I'll pull it up on the slide so we can see it up here too. This is an existing path right here, a gray line, and it follows it looks like, and Mr. Coyle indicated that it was hand dug as an erosion control idea for the cornfield.
That was dug.
It's possibly done by, it's how it appeared to him. He knows more about this stuff than I do. It could have been a natural
I thought that was
overtime.
due to erosion.
Could have been from the corn, and now it's watered, now the corn too. Hard to tell, but it's probably about 6-7 feet deep.
See, you don't want to go over the
So
edge.
what we're proposing instead is to avoid that trail. We're not going to delete it or touch it really, just kind of
Around it.
sign it. So we can do a little light brush here, and we're talking just hand blazing, and then you can run along the edge of the cornfield with the trail, and then come back in to this point where it's point B.
And again, the cornfield it's owned by the town, but people farm it for corn,
Yes.
right?
Yes, that's right. They have a financial contract with the town to still be able to maintain the harvest. So where I'm standing is where the new trail would be coming from, and to cross this fissure, I'm gonna call it. I mentioned it's just a down gradient pitch, and then there's an existing path that comes off the side.
So you're gonna go to the left of it?
Yes, and that would put us on the northern part of this map towards area C, eventually a little down gradient. The path, if we don't come off the cornfield, continues up the gray area. It's actually up the fissure, and it's rocky, it's dangerous. We want to avoid it, so that's I'm not considering it really a wetlands crossing because it's a surface drain, it's a surface runoff area, but we are going to include it in this gray thatched area on the plan that you're seeing now as an area that will get surveyed by a survey team and a wetland scientist that should be doing this within the next handful of weeks. So that's site B. Maybe a couple of weeks.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So who operates that field?
I believe it's the Cutting family, or it might even be the Post family.
I
I'm
mean,
not
just for
100% sure.
the sake of curiosity, it might be
In the same-
nice.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't
She was
sure.
a cut-
Okay.
Sylvia was
She was a
cut,
cutting. She was a
Mrs.
cutting.
Post was a cutting. This was
Okay.
her father started
I see.
the Hillcrest Farm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she
Post.
married Donald Post, so it's
I
Post
see.
cutting.
I mean,
And-
given the
Today's the
Hillcrest.
farmer's daughter
Farmer's daughter,
runs
yeah.
this.
And now it's the
It is
daughter
there,
and
yeah.
the father.
well, I mean, given the proximity to the proposed trail, it might be worth reaching out to them and asking the nature of that trench.
Exactly.
Whether it was intentional or whether it was, I mean, if it wasn't intentional and it's within their power to do something about it so it doesn't get bigger.
Right.
I mean, I've been down there in the past and my recollection is, I mean, I think I walked out there with my dad when, it's probably like 10 plus years ago, and I'm pretty sure that wasn't there like 15 years ago.
Okay.
It's been there for, I think, at least like 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 10 years, but I'm pretty sure that was not always there.
Sure. It could have been created from the
But if
construction of
anything-
the rec complex. We don't
If
know.
anything, the
Pretty
way
slow.
it is now, though, it's just going to get worse with time
Sure.
if it's not addressed.
And that's why we wanted to avoid it for now entirely,
Right.
at least for the walking area. So
I don't think, I don't want to make that part of this project if we can, because it's a big trench.
Right.
right, and we're trying to avoid it altogether, and we're just going to let nature take its course here.
It's not our project.
Right. I'd rather avoid it than and it's possible because there's open area to do so. So, that being Site B we just discussed, I'm forking off towards the right, back down towards the sewer easement to get to Site C. Now this picture is kind of taken from where the C is on the plan, facing the trail. So to the left runs down the southern length of the trail, the sewer easement kind of along the southern.
Oh, yeah, so that's coming down this way.
That's correct.
That's the sewer road, sort of.
Yes, that'll take us
way down.
That's right. That's right.
Nice walk.
So what this is, and you can't really see it, but this is a fence for the state property.
Yeah.
This entire gray area where the diversion channel is fenced in. Now,
So
the
the-
fence is obviously not in great shape.
So the middle, you're looking up the hill.
Yes, this
And
is
to
the
the
fissure
right.
that comes down eventually.
Yeah, and then to the right is the DT.
Correct.
To the left is the sewer road.
That's right. It's panoramic shots just so I can see
Yeah,
everything.
it's
Oh,
very
okay.
fancy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is kind of our little crossing, and the trail gets up here.
Oh, I see.
All right, comes down.
Oh, that's not bad.
Right. So this here, if there was something to be done just for safety's sake, if at all, and we're trying to keep these as hiking trails, keep them natural. I mean, people go hiking, they walk through stuff like this all the time. That's how it is. So if not, if we have to, we could do 24, 36-inch pipes, something Bill and I talked about, if necessary, just to create and to allow the flow to continue
You need
underneath.
a culvert?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
If even necessary.
Okay.
So that being Site C, just a little further down, you're gonna see it down tree, but takes us to Site D. And it seems that there are actually two of these fissures, this one not being as large. Okay, so I'm a little farther down.
Oh, this is down where the tree goes across the
Exactly.
sewer easement.
Yep,
Okay.
right. So this one you can't, kind of shoots down this side. This
Yes.
comes off one of the other cornfields.
Yeah.
All right, that's a washout area. We're not talking wetlands
That's
vegetation.
what it
So that's
is.
what these are. These are washouts. So again, if necessary, crushed stone or a 24-inch culvert to channel it if it even happens.
Yeah.
And I've been out there 5 months, Dan. You've been going out there longer than I. I haven't seen water in these spots yet. So it's been a dry season. So
That is
that's
true.
what we say. So those are the areas I wanted to bring up today as kind of part of the request for determination. The rest of the thatched area is going to be surveyed, is going to be wetland delineated. We know there's wetlands there, I mean, there's water there now.
So you're not talking about over by the fence where the water is?
I am, actually.
You are
I will be. Yeah, so photos not necessary. We've seen it. There's at one point you may need like a 20-foot bridge to get past a large gorge where you can see on the contours on the plan there's certainly a wetland crossing, and it comes
Yeah.
off of the back of the detention pond, and that's the channel. So
Okay.
instead of making this, a walking trail with crushed stone or was it stone dust, or building this thing up to make it compliant for walking, the idea has come up to make this just a hiking trail instead. I mean, we're talking grade too, because coming from the diversion channel up towards Site B is probably 12 feet in elevation changes, up south to north, maybe more. And there's some considerable uphill coming
Well,
from
you can
B
see the
to
gradients here.
intersection.
That's 561 and down here it's 492.
Yeah, these are
That's 70 feet.
Yeah, they're about 10-foot contours at least in over a short period of time.
It's
So
a hill. It's
yeah.
Packagug Hill.
It is. So instead of putting the emphasis into this instead of putting the emphasis into it to create these culverts and bridges and all that, we're thinking keep it natural.
Yes.
Right? Why disturb it further? So we're thinking there's a limited scope of work here is with the brush hog just to make the trail width 8 feet in spots where it's even necessary, if necessary. But that's
Is
why
your intention to have this delineated as what?
would be
Where it is.
yes, just the gray area is going to get surveyed
It's
delineated.
gonna be surveyed.
Yes, and I'm also going to have them look at the 4 sites ABCD for their interpretation. A, where we would be cutting autumn olive trees. B, for that surface crossing. C and D, the other 2 surface crossings. The runoff crossings.
Through the chair, please.
Yes.
When the Pappas Recreation area was being planned, Dr. John Rockwood walked that whole hill, and I'm wondering if we might use him again, because he's very, very familiar with all of that.
I understand that.
Suggestion.
I digress. I understand that the work we're looking at is inside wetland area. We're very aware of that. I'm not looking for a negative determination today. I'm actually looking at notice of intent, filing it, even if we have to do it, it gives us maintenance ability, so for a period of time too, to maintain the trail. So I'm just putting this in front of us now as kind of procedurally, it's something I have to do for the grant, is to keep this project moving along.
So-
But introducing it now,
So you're anticipating that you'll need a notice of intent?
quite possibly. If the commission, if we're able to get everything and work done through the RDA, awesome. I see a notice of intent being more beneficial to us because then we can hold a maintenance program through it. But, I'm sorry, in order of conditions, not necessarily notice of intent. So,
Not saying one way or another.
Right.
But I have to say, there's no wetland delineation on this plan.
Right, exactly. And at first, we were looking to split this up into a phase 1 and a phase 2. Phase 1 being everything that's not hatched in gray here, and phase 2 being the lower area. Then we decided, well, in order to keep a maintenance plan active, we need order conditions. So we have an active order conditions for the recreation complex for this property already, but this being a different project,
That's
seems
not
to
the
be
same.
separate. So, but having this information in front of everyone today, getting the ball rolling on the project is my intention.
Do you have the other image that includes the other trails that you determined out there that exist?
I have a whole bunch of images, Dan, but I didn't upload them.
Because I remember seeing that GPS track line you'd had. Wasn't there one that was more, there were more lines than what you're showing there? Or was that the extent of it? Because I know when I've been back out there, there's a lot. There's like
way more.
little narrow cart paths, there's double
right.
wide ones, there are ones
Yes.
that are getting overgrown with vegetation you can
Right.
barely make out.
That's mostly this area. It's
Okay.
a lot of network of that. There's that campsite over here with the
It's really
kids
cool,
party
yeah.
area or something. I don't know.
So this is just the extent that you got to.
This is what we'd consider for the trail network.
Okay.
So, just for clarification, let me go back to the other one. Nah, we'll stay with this one. This area here is like a V, there's a willow tree right here as a landmark, then it comes back up and it comes to the
Right.
parking lot. That would be what we consider Trail A. I'm sure it'll get a name at some point. And that's kind of the walking
The
trail.
Matt Benoit Trail.
I'm thinking probably back and start getting your name somewhere.
The Nipmuc
So,
Nation.
right, so that'd be the walking trail portion of it because it's level, there's not a lot of grade changes. And then for the challenge, or the more, the hikers looking for more of a challenge, could pursue the other trail.
Yeah, but I mean, that sewer road is really, it's not much at all.
Sure.
It's just where you gotta climb the hill.
Yep.
Particularly over by the DT.
Yep.
That's a definite challenge.
Yep, this
I
area
agree.
and this area here too. I know we
Yeah, a little
were able to
bit.
come down the flat
Not
part
so
of it,
bad.
but up top here where the campsite is and some of the across the top of the cornfield is. But yeah, that's why we left it as kind of the hiking area and then the walking area being that large V in the middle with the willow tree in between.
And the large area that doesn't have any track lines to the south and to the east, are
Yeah,
there
yeah.
other trails that break off that are just smaller?
You gotta
Yes.
remember though,
Okay.
where the sewer road is, Dan,
Yeah.
down to that river is a huge drop.
Huge.
Yeah, I'm looking at
And
the
there's
contour
no-
line there. Yeah, that's
There's
quite steep.
no
right
way to easily do it sometimes. I mean, it's like, we went down a couple of them and it's a steep, dicey,
There-
trying to get up and down there.
I mean, just speaking for myself, I'm also thinking in terms of like mountain biking.
Cross country?
I agree that there's
Climbing and descending are all part of the
Oh, it's a
game.
definite potential on
I'll
that.
carry
Yeah,
it.
because there's some interesting topography at the back of the site there.
There's some expansion opportunity here. I think we're just trying to get with, so sorry, I'm gonna jump.
Oh, and then there's the transmission corridor at the,
Right,
yeah.
and there's
Yeah,
definitely trails down there too. So there is something that comes off of this side. I don't know if it ends up
Yeah.
how wet this is and you come around, but the future, that's not for us
Right.
today. So, the grant, just to describe it a little bit, it's $15,000 match grant, so 15,000 that would go towards the survey, the wetlands delineation for this area. Initially, we anticipated that would also include the 61A land and the entire length of the diversion channel all the way towards the Route 20. But I'm starting to, as we learn more about the site, there seems to be more here than we originally anticipated.
I really, yeah.
Our estimate here is going to dictate whether we come with a more comprehensive plan that includes the 61A land.
Yeah, I mean, a 61A with a completely separate thing. There's plenty here though.
Yes.
Like
Bunny
I
Hill.
said, I mean, all this stuff,
Sure.
the only thing is the hill, I mean,
Right.
but where the sewer line is, I mean, it's not a problem at all.
The section of trail to the east of B, is that trail going to be adequately far from the embankment leading down to the channel for safety, or is there going to be a need for more signage or like a fence or something? Because if you're going to have all sorts of groups of people, you know, all it takes is one accident.
Sure. No, I agree.
And the footing there, as it was the last time I was down there, is not great, and it gets worse as you get towards the channel.
So right in the channel, the easement cuts right across state property.
Oh, yeah.
We walked that.
They have a
And
fence over there.
There is, and it's broken. So
Right, the fence is not continuous along the end of the channel.
Okay, but
we're not
it's
anticipating.
not our,
Well, we're not anticipating the state's going to fix it either. So it may be in our best interest to patch that.
And like signage about,
Correct. It being state property.
oh, we peeked down there, it's, yeah.
it drops right off the earth.
So the intention of this project, the entire intention of this project is to make sure that we can bridge a connection to the 61A land, which is about a 12-foot wide piece of property right there. So, and that's, if we're unable to do that based on surveys and stuff, then all we have is the regular walking trail and what's existing, and then we can expand it further south if we need to. But our main focus is on the connection.
So what is the status of that other parcel, where the 61A land over at Southold? What is the status of that now?
It's now owned by the town. It's
Okay,
been
so that
bonded
entire,
for,
okay.
it's been bonded for non-taxable bonds. It's been kind of, that means it can only be used for municipal use only. And the Open Space Committee is, in the past, referenced a recommendation towards passive recreation use, although
Wow.
an official recommendation from them hasn't been made for a specific use.
So theoretically down the line, the trail could go all the way out.
Well, yeah, but that's a field, I mean, this is woods, you know.
True.
The intention would be for it to run along the border of the
That was
property.
farmed land, I mean, it's a little different.
So
All right.
hopefully I'll have more survey information, but I wanted to at least open up the public hearing process of letters and such, so so we can receive comments from the commission and others. So.
Any comments from the commission on this issue? How about from the public, anyone?
Yeah, Kevin Moss, 1 Bay Street, and that E section right there.
Yeah.
There's a plug sluice right there. Now, are they gonna open that up? They
That's
had
right.
planned that they're gonna redo some of that grading out there, and I was kind of wondering,
I
before you do that, they may check that to see if they're planning on changing that.
I guess we gotta talk to Bill Coyle about that, I'm not sure if you know, Matt.
If I may, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, sir, there was a pipe put in somewhere over in this area for the water from this side to come over to this side.
Right.
And there's a pipe there and it is blocked. It's
Okay.
absolutely blocked. I don't know if that's the same one you were,
That's coming down there.
Describe
Yeah,
it.
that was the one, that's the area. I'm
it's
sorry.
probably right about here.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely blocked off. So Bill saw that when we were out there, and I'm sure when maintenance is done, that would be done as well.
Will that yellow trail be natural, or is that going to be paved? Or
Natural, none of it, I'm sorry.
None of this is gonna be
Yes.
paved as far as I know.
Yes, we don't intend on doing that. And if there are low-lying areas within the trails, Mr. Coyle talked about possibly laying crushed stone at most.
So you're saying
We're not talking large areas.
So even the designated walking section that's in solid yellow,
Yes.
that would be non-paved.
Correct.
Okay.
We intend to keep everything
I mean, we
natural.
walked it, it's sort of like a dirt road, it's not, it's,
Right.
And the more use, the longer, the better its longevity.
There would be crushed stone, or that's a possibility.
We're talking like low-lying, little dips in the path, if any. We're talking about putting down maybe 20 feet worth of crushed stone in areas if we find there's ponding. But other than that, keeping it, keeping it natural.
any other questions from the public or any other comments from the board?
I like it.
All right.
Close?
It's gonna be nice.
Motion to close, do we have a second?
I would
Oh,
I would
actually,
respectfully ask for, I guess, a continuance, this hopefully I get some surveying, if necessary. It's really up to the commission at this point, I know it's a town project, so.
Continue frequency determination?
Actually, no, I apologize. I would have that information for those of intent, so I retract my request. Sorry.
All right, so we have a motion to close the hearing on the request for determination. We have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Hi.
Aye. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Decision, very shortly. Okay. We have other decisions to do, right? And we gotta get to them. You wanna do this one first? You wanna do this one first? Just. Okay, so what is, does anyone have a motion on the request for determination for the trail system?
Sure.
What is it?
Sure.
What-
I make a
oh,
motion.
What is your
I
motion?
move that we,
Oh, I missed.
No, I don't.
I forgot some pictures.
We have them here, we have them.
It'll be okay.
Got some great ones.
Go Louise.
Go ahead.
Make a motion that we issue a positive determination on the requested determination.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Oh, do we have a second?
Positive determination means he'll have to file order of conditions.
Yes, I second that.
Second, any discussion? And I would just add that, we don't even have a wetland delineation, so we can't.
Right.
I think we have to issue, in my view, a positive
Right.
determination.
Yeah.
but
Right.
That's my
Zoom in
opinion.
anything, yeah. I can't understand things.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, positive determination. Okay. Want to go to the golf course issue. Any discussion on this or motion?
Seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Okay.
I make a motion that we accept Mr. Coyle's plan to work on the maintenance of the golf course currently before the end of the termination.
We have a negative determination.
Negative, I'm sorry. Thank
Make
you.
a motion for a negative determination.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? I think, just as a matter of information, I think, trimming branches and things like that is
Sure.
something normal at a golf course, right?
Maintenance, right.
And he even said that he wouldn't be cutting any trees down by the man-made pond anyway, but,
He would do it before the contract on the current was over on December 31st anyway, so that's fine.
all right, any other
Negative,
discussion?
thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It's a vote. Okay, so we need 2 signature sheets, right? On the notice of intent for lot 2, well, did we rule on the pool deck and fence? I think we did, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the notice of intent for lot 2, 56 Packagug Street, Peter Haug, or however you say that, of Patriot Homes. Can I have a motion? Does someone want to fire this one off too? Anyone? Anyone want to issue an order of conditions?
That's a possibility.
I'll make a motion, we issue an order of conditions for 56 Packagug, Lot 2, standard order,
Plus,
plus 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 11, 12, and I believe that's it unless anyone else can think one that I missed.
okay. Okay, so the storage of snow,
5, 6, 8.
this is on lot 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 11, and 12. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It's a vote. We need another signature sheet, please. Lots of decisions. Okay, on the Lot 3 application of the same, does anyone want to make a motion?
I make a motion. Issue an order conditions for 56 Packagug, Lot 3. Standard order plus all the aforementioned numbers.
All right, can we just-
Wow.
I will read those off.
Excellent.
Can answer in the
Big
affirmative or
words.
negative.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
We have 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 11, and 12. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what I had before.
Is that what we have, Tom?
And we're gonna add anything about the pool and that about the soils being removed from the site. I don't know if that should be part of it or not.
That's not our standard order as far as...
Mention removing the soil, do we need to include that?
Yeah, he didn't say where he was gonna put the soil. He said, yeah, we're gonna
One of our
remove it, but-
conditions.
He said he was gonna truck it off
I
site.
thought that was...
Yeah,
under-
where, yeah.
Yeah, is that under our standard order? Do you know? As far as
That's a
removing...
good question. We could add that as a special
Yeah,
condition.
it's, I just like,
I'd like to amend my motion to
Sure.
add that all soils be removed from the site.
Okay.
Yes.
I believe that, I mean, this is in the Asian longhorn beetle area. I don't know if that, would be
It
standard
is?
practice for that, yes.
Hmm.
The planning board did add that as a condition to their approval,
What was the condition?
that any trees should have to be removed according to the 11th amended order of
To
the Asian
where?
longhorn beetle act.
So
And
the
that's
proper
big
disposal.
concern-
Proper disposal.
Proper disposal,
Yeah.
so.
Dan, do you want to amend it with appropriate language since you're
Yeah,
the
proper
tree guy?
disposal to be done.
I'm not a tree guy anymore, buddy.
I could,
You have the background though.
We don't want proper disposal to be a dirty square or anything.
All right, so
I could,
standard order plus the special condition of removing soils and
to include the pool, should that possibly be,
including the pool.
or as shown on plans dated da-da-da-da.
I'm not going to say da.
Yeah,
All right,
there she is.
I'll
As
just,
shown
I'll
on
just
the plan.
include it,
She's
I'll
saying it
include the
though.
plan.
as shown on the plan. And with the additional special condition of the proper handling of the Asian longhorn beetle, any removal of trees that be disposed of would,
I can transfer that almost the exact condition for the
According to the town.
Yeah,
according
Okay.
to the town's
Regulation.
regulation as specified by the planning board, which will be added in.
oh, that's
Would that
good.
be something that we shouldn't bother with?
I mean, technically that's something they should be
That's
aware of
something the
already.
planning board
Well, that's
takes-
something
Yeah,
I
they
think
really
we should,
but we, he,
Stick
that
with it.
mentioned.
you know what, I think that's something that we should add on to our list.
Right.
To our certificate of compliance.
I'll give you that language.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Give
do
it
we have
to
a
me now.
second on this with the special conditions added on?
I second the special condition.
Okay. Any discussion further? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It's a vote. We need another signature sheet.
Yeah.
And that
So you're
is
saying
it.
they already know about this Asian beetle situation from the planning board? No, it was not mentioned at all tonight through them, but they already know that.
They didn't
But
say
the
anything about
Conservation Commission
removing
has
it.
enforcement authority.
Okay.
I mean, the thing is, technically, the Conservation Commission isn't supposed to have to remind anyone who's in the ALB zone that they're in the ALB zone. That's right.
Well, that could be something that, under the master plan,
Yeah.
if someone was on there, they could have language included into the regulations if they were a tree guy. They might be
Right, but
able to
the
figure that
problem
out.
is, like, it shouldn't be at our responsibility to tell them that. And then we could say, oh, well, they didn't put that on my filing. Well,
Yeah.
no,
You
no,
assume you're
no.
already
They were
responsible.
hoping when I came in.
I think it's not our responsibility
Is
to
there any
have to
other
remind them.
business that the board would like to address at this time? Do we want to set any time
No, we
for
have-
We have those,
Here's-
we have those two, one's William Street, the other one is meet with Matt Spencer some
Yeah.
Saturday, but,
So we don't, but what does the next several weekends bring for people?
well, this is not a good one for everyone. This would be 21, and then we're looking at 27, which is what?
That's on Thanksgiving weekend.
So looking at the one after that, which would be December something.
3 or 5.
All right, so,
Oh, yeah,
I
because
have
we
it.
did sign
so
the,
temporarily,
yeah,
we'll say the weekend after Thanksgiving,
I don't think we covered that in our,
or visits if we can. But let's go back and,
People
Send
be
an
away
email.
on the Thanksgiving weekend.
yeah,
Well, that's, yeah, the one after that would be,
Available that weekend.
I'm not, so.
no, it's not, no.
But, I mean,
Be
because I'm
December.
just one person.
Be December 5,
December 5.
December 5 would
We
be.
could have
the
snow
weekend.
by then, that could be great.
Yeah.
I think it's snow by 3 days from now.
We could have it at
We
any
could
time.
go and do cross-country skiing on the trail system.
Yeah, see, that's all there is, 21, 28, and
Okay,
5.
so,
21, 28, 5, and then we meet on the 9th.
all right.
I just wanted to ask if there was a chance of
Sorry.
the certificate of compliance being signed ahead of time for 3 William Street, and I'd hold it until the inspection was done, and somebody emailed me that he was all set.
I didn't say it was all set. I said,
No, I
It's a
didn't say
procedural
so.
question
Oh, no,
I
no,
don't
I
know
said
the
Trish
answer
was-
to.
I said
You're
Trish
asking
was
to
all
I
set.
know,
pre-sign
that's not
something.
what I'm
That doesn't
asking.
sound
I'm
like
asking
It
if-
doesn't sound
Something we
kosher
do.
to me, but
Yeah.
Does it?
that you
Okay.
can pre-sign, you know,
That is close to William
Well,
Street.
we
kind
have,
of stamp it and then
it
someone
does
goes over there.
happen. Yeah, well, it does happen,
We're not
Okay.
gonna,
but
we're not gonna be looking at it till the 5th of December, we're meeting
Yeah.
on the 9th. It's
Well, I
4
mean, we
days
could,
different.
did they need the
yes,
certificate
he
of
was in
compliance
very much
from
of a
the
hurry,
whole
that's
board?
why I kept sending.
What does it need? What do they want? What do they do?
Assuming it's
He needs one person
Yeah, it's-
from the commission to go over there and look at it.
We can do that,
Let's
but,
see.
you know, normally certificates of compliance
Okay.
take, a while, but, I mean, I don't think they need it for, moving in.
No, I don't know, maybe it was just some closing
It was really
costs
pretty
money,
quick.
I don't really know what it was.
I don't know about
Okay,
just
well, if you
issuing
don't want
one
it,
without,
that's fine.
you know,
I would like to sign
because
it.
then otherwise, what if we
Yeah.
find something? Then we go
Yeah.
take it back?
No, I'd hold on to it and wouldn't release it
Oh, I see.
unless I got permission. But
Hmm.
that's all right, if you,
Yeah,
you're
I don't feel
uncomfortable doing
comfortable
it.
as
All right,
vice
we can
chairman, I'm
wait.
kind of an amateur up here, you know?
No, no, no.
Okay,
no.
we can
You're
wait.
acting chairman, well, you're not my
I'm
chairman.
acting, that's right. No,
You're a good
do
actor.
we still have to vacate the enforcement order on,
that was the other
770.
thing I was wondering about.
I-
What's
I
the
don't
order
think-
that we
I don't
do
think
that?
there's a big rush to do that, and I think until everything's done, I don't know.
On 770.
Mike usually leaves things,
the thing is, they can't do anything unless we vacate the enforcement order, because the enforcement order says they can't do anything.
Right, right.
Now you've issued an order.
Is that right? I don't know.
They can't do both.
But at the same time, if they need to go, he can do emergency, can't he? Doesn't he have emergency powers to do enforcement orders to take them off and then we
issued a
ratify it?
notice of intent, I don't know.
I mean, through the chair, it sounds like you just issued an order to allow him to work.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It does, right, that doesn't automatically vacate the enforcement order.
No. Well, what would you like to do?
What would you like to do, Dan? You solve it now.
I would make a motion that we vacate the enforcement order for 770 to 772 Southbridge Street so they can proceed with their project.
I'll second that.
Okay, yeah, they got.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It's a vote, and we're gonna vacate that.
Okay, so that's done, that's just a...
We gotta sign though, don't we?
No, there's no signature for that.
No signature,
Minutes of
okay.
the meeting.
We lift the enforcement order so they can do their work.
That's it.
Otherwise, they'd be trapped in a...
And a conundrum within
Right.
a riddle.
When did they decide on site visits?
Buried under an enigma.
They set a time for some site visits,
Set
or?
a time, but we thought that December 5th would be good.
Okay,
We need to
December-
check with the commission, the
Right.
rest of everybody, before we do it.
Okay.
Tentatively, December 5th.
Okay, and those site visits would include
William Street, if we haven't done it by then,
William Street, hopefully, yeah.
and Mr. Stencil.
Yeah, and then you've already done Elizabeth Street, so it'd just be those two.
Yes.
197 Packagug and
And Williams.
and 3 Williams.
Yeah. That's all we got.
Okay. Alrighty.
Any other business? Then can I have a motion?
Motion to adjourn?
I'll second that.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Vote.